What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Friday, November 19th to all of you. Thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here on Pub Sports Radio. It is time to get this weekend started with winners. We have ITSDERL, a.k.a. Darryl Rice, joining us to break down the 9-game NBA card. We have a 2-game NHL card. I swept the board with Max's looks yesterday. I went 3-0. Again, it's so important when you hear other cappers with their looks to make sure that it correlates with how you see a game banging out. And that worked really well for me. And it saved my night because I went 0-2 in NHL, 0-2-1, but 0-2 in NHL. And then 1-3 in NBA, and it made me want to fucking lose my shit. Wizards up 19-12 with 2.5 minutes left in the first quarter, and I have the Wizards plus 1.5 at plus money, and they missed 8 straight shots, including 2 foul shots. Unfucking believable. Just Kuzma. I just want to open hand slap him in the face. God, anytime I need him to hit a bucket, he bricks. And anytime I'm against him, he's magic. It's just very, 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 very upsetting. It just the Spurs were supposed to have energy in the fourth quarter, and they had nothing in the fourth quarter. They put up 12 points in the fourth quarter, so it's very, very upsetting. On the other hand, Dutch Boy Fresh was excellent. He ripped shit up yesterday. And now our NBA experts here on the show are a combined 41-26 plus 13.7 units. Dutch has moved to 13-6 plus 6.89 units. He cashed with the Warriors, cashed with Memphis. So did I. He lost with the Nuggets, and then he cashed with his 2 props, Maxey and Ja, at 16.5 and 23.5 points, respectively. All right, let's get back to business, man. And Dan Kelly says, I'd like to bet the Celtics tonight, but I don't trust Udoka late in a tight game. The line makers say this game will be close, and they'll know a lot more than you do. Yes, this total's gone from this spread's gone from 2.5 to 1. I was curious to see if you were going to keep fading the Lakers. I held back. The only thing I've done is faded the Raptors, which I should have done last night. Faded the Raptors with the Sacramento Kings at -3.5. Thank you guys all so much for joining us. Happy Friday to all of you. Sammy Calmer in the house says on a 6-0 streak in NBA, I need some of that. JM says Oilers are a joke. They should go back to Canada or some shit. The Oilers were fine last night. They got me the push. Could have been worse. Connor McDavid scored another unbelievable goal, and then that shootout goal was also so nice. Nice to see Kyle Turris look like a sniper. Looked like the guy that was drafted 4th overall by the Coyotes years ago. Looked like the guy who was going to put North Vancouver hockey back on the map, which he has not done. Sammy's first bet of the weekend is in. Newcastle United, pick 'em. All right. Pick 'em. Draw no bet. Draw no bet. Yeah, that's the addition there. Uncle Oliver ready to go. There's R says Friday college football not very good. I don't know. This is a pretty nice 5-game card. I beat the shit out of cap. These games have been capped heavy, and I haven't moved on them yet. I prefer to talk them out loud and see what you guys are on. There is the Nuke Worker coming to us live from Darlington, Nuclear, and only for a few more months till he gets to retire at a young age, which is incredible. So there's our guy Nuke Worker in the house. Henry Dice says, don't sleep on the Avalanche. Look, the Avalanche their defense is spectacular. I mean, you take a team, you take out if you count Comfer as the second-line center, he's not, probably Kadri is, but you take out McKinnon and Comfer, and then you take out Bowen Byram, so you take out one of their top 4 defensemen, you take out 2 of their top 6 forwards, and they still win hockey games. I mean, they're a good hockey team. And I wanted to back Seattle today, and I could not do that. Ours on the under in Nets Orlando. There's Cap a lot pops. Birdie ready to get to work. There's Dennis Trusty in the house. Trusty, I thought we had a winner yesterday with your look at 7-1. The Battle Scars, I believe was the name. God, he was held in the pocket, and then he popped out finally. And I was like, oh shit, he's going to win this thing. And then he just didn't have enough right at the very end. And that would have been a nice little payday. I mean, I would have cleared $200 on a small bet there. Slatsy 4-2 last night in the NHL. 5th winning day in a row. Beautiful. Habs regulation. The money line was gorgeous. Habs team total over 3.5. Habs are a broken, fragile team. They are. Serious business, ready to go. Puzzler, that was an easy. I should have just been on Pittsburgh with Crosby angry and the team angry. And then what a great call by Dommy Gun Ricci on the Flames first period. Flames took care of business there. C Gunner ready to get to work. Danny Lopez. Roger Helix says, good day from Australia. Thank you for joining us. Nuke Worker says Louisville was easy money last night. There's Tommy Gun right there. Beautiful. Plus 6 units in the NHL. Gorgeous, gorgeous. There is Nizzle, Ohio's finest. Billy Friedrich in the house. All right. Trusty says, I'm picking my spots in NCAA basketball. It's working well so far. Yeah, yesterday was a beautiful day. Thank you, Rem. Yes, we're excited. We're excited about the Barrio signing. We're excited. There's Piker ready to go. Says the Oklahoma and the Duke over cashed nicely. And Dan Kelly says, on Sunday, I will have Detroit moneyline, Lions and Pistons. Detroit moneyline parlay. I think it'll pay a little better than 20-1 as well. I like it. And current plays in the chat from our Dan Kelly, 9 and 8. Tyler Duda, and thank you for tracking them. That means a lot. It's, we all know what it's like when cappers, break down games, talk about their angles, give out their plays, and then there's no accountability or, transparency. Honestly, it takes a lot of the joy out of watching somebody when they just can spout whatever bullshit they want, and then there's no repercussions. Chosen One says, I told you last night was a smash spot for the Golden Knights. I guaranteed it. Yeah, you did. You did. Wild, great stuff, Chosen One, with all the COVID issues and Larkin coming back and all that stuff. Great job to not be afraid of all those players missing from the lineup and still smashing. Congratulations and great job. And also, shout out to Kev Riley. Kev Riley is $56 richer, just waiting for his PayPal. Just waiting for his PayPal, and I will send that immediately. As soon as you get it. Yeah, he says he has a PayPal, so I'm just waiting for the email. Kev Riley, good job. It was 1-0 early, and I was like, uh-oh. But then you took care of business. Nice job. Nice job. Tommy Gun says, split Thursday Night Football. Falcons lost over 34 receiving yards from Bourne hit. College basketball. Nice job. You're rolling right now, Tommy Gun. I love seeing it. There's Trot Wham, ready to go. Williams Wrestling, Nathan Cerna, Fat Wally. Jimmy Key, oh man, yeah, he was a beaut. He was a beaut. Piker says not going against the market move and taking Celtics. Live NBA is the way to go anyway. Yes, there's clearly big dollars on the Lakers right now. We'll go over all of that. McDavid is the GOAT, says Henry Dice. Calls him the Curry of the NHL. Come on. I think McDavid is better in comparison to the other hockey players than Curry is in comparison to the other basketball players. I think that's my now. Look, Curry's the greatest shooter we've ever seen, but a full, complete basketball player. I mean, I don't think Curry's the best basketball player in the NHL. He's the best shooter in the NHL. And Gavin Henry says, "Have a few winners for you at Parks next week. Hit me up." I love that, Gavin Henry. He's a horse trainer in Jamaica and great capper, great friend of the show. Okay. And Dominican said, talked about going against the Stars, hitting wild and over hit and the under Oilers. Beautiful. Yeah, you absolutely rolled. And I should have still taken the under, even though it never got to 6. That was my fault in the Oilers game. There's Benjamin, in the Leafs game. Sorry. There's Cab 701 NCAA football weekday games going back to last Thursday. I love it. Nathan Stern said, yes, the Nuggets were very frustrating. They sure were. Okay, we got to get to work. There's a little E ready to eat. Mike M in the house. Slatsy says, do you think Ray or Simeon re-sign with the Jays? No, I don't. I don't think so. I just think that this is, sadly, because Simeon, it's just absolutely spectacular. This is not when you sign free agents. And you don't sign free agents after they have the greatest year of their entire career. You don't. And if you do, you're going to spend ridiculous amounts of money. And you're dealing with the biases that we talk about all the time. And that should be in every general manager's head. You don't sign a player after their greatest season because you're going to pay too much money for a player who is probably not capable of ever putting up those numbers again. So I tell you what, if I was the general manager of the Toronto Blue Jays, and I know this is not what fans want to hear, but I wouldn't sign either of them. Now, we did get a decent contract on Barrios. I find it impossible to believe that players actually want to play in Toronto with our shit stadium. and having to cross the border all the time. So that's just what I think. But I'm also lacking sleep and a little emotional. There's Steve in the house. Ron Crawford ready to get to work. Capital Pop says I hit on Carolina game in under 3.5 plus 650 last night. Wow. Luke Murphy, esteemed author Luke Murphy with us. Uncle Oliver says Indiana State money line was so beautiful. Great job, everybody. Sammy saying LeBron officially game time decision. No surprises. All right, we got to get to work. Let's bon qui. Everybody, thank you for joining us. Rodney Barton says happy Friday. All right, let's go. Jason Albert. Nice, long time. We haven't seen Jason Albert. I love it. Okay. Okay. All right. You guys are hilarious. Okay, let's get to work. Thank you guys all so much for joining us. A ton of work to do here on a Friday. So this is our schedule right now. We're going to break down these two NHL games. It's Darryl. Darryl Rice will be joining us probably about 20 minutes. It's 12:25, or sorry, 11:25 Eastern, 8:25 Pacific is his call time. We'll see if that's enough time for us to break down these two games. Then we're going to go into NBA. We have 9 games capped. The plan right now is to have Max here on the show for NCAA basketball. He's got 4 games he's attacking, and 1 game is at 1 p.m., so he's got afternoon action. That 1 p.m. game for us, or the 2 p.m. game in the St. Bonaventure. Boise State game was a nice double-up casher. Great way to start the day. So we're going to do that. That is supposed to be at 12:10, so that's supposed to be in about 56 minutes. Then from there, we go into NCAA football, followed by CFL football, where I have cashed 8 in a row, but I'm kind of thinking of being patient. That's whenever you start winning like that, you start being sharper and thinking smarter, and I'm thinking about waiting until the playoffs. All right, let's get to work. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We start in NHL, where now I am back slightly negative units after an 0-2 night, lost with the Devils, lost with the Flyers in a shootout. I don't remember ever seeing a shootout where one team looked quite as bad as the Flyers and the other team looked as spectacular as the Lightning, and just 2 shooters. Like the Couturier and Giroux, I think it's Couturier and Giroux, looked like I couldn't believe that's what a shootout. I mean, don't you practice this shit? But it just looked unbelievably bad. And then, Stammer scores like it's nothing. It's just very, very upsetting. And Oilers -1 was a push. So we are now sitting 48-51, down 0.51 units. Average line plus 108. ROI minus 0.52%. Let's get after it. We only have late night games for us here. So late night action for those of us here on the East Coast. We start with the Winnipeg Jets 9-3-3, 2-2-2 on the road at Vancouver Canucks, Rogers Arena, Vancouver, BC. Eric Comrie has been very good. We expect him to be in net. It's the second half of a back-to-back, losing 2-1 in the shootout last night in Edmonton. Comrie 3-1-0, 1.98 goals against average, 926 save percentage, 0 shutouts. It's been a battle to win that backup goaltending job in Winnipeg. A lot of different highly drafted goaltenders have had that opportunity. And we see them all over the league, littered all over the league, right? We see Brissois out there. We see Michael Hutchinson out there. Eric Comrie won the job, and he's looking very good this year. Thatcher Demko has not looked good this year. 5-7-1, 3.31 goals against average, 898 save percentage. And it's hard for me to blame the Canucks defense, because it's not the Canucks defense that has been that bad. You look at Quinn Hughes. Quinn Hughes is a +5, and I know that plus minus is kind of an antiquated statistic. Henry Dice says over. Yes, that's my only bet. I did bet the over 5.5, and it really came down to the penalty killing with these two squads. The Jets' penalty killing is at 65.9%. Now, yes, the Nucks power play has been terrible at 14.5%, but that makes no sense. You got to blame Travis Green on that. This team has all the weapons you need for a spectacular power play. How it doesn't have it is mind-boggling. Jets' 21.3% power play going up against the Canucks' 60.3% penalty killing. So just here. Oh, we have a spreadsheet play of the day. Treek, yes, I do a Sunday NFL breakdown, but I do it. Well, we have our Tuesday NFL show every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. And so that's up right now on our YouTube page, Pub Sports Radio. And then we do our big Sunday morning show. Spreadsheet play today is in San Diego State. Man, that's a big game. That's a fun one. God, that's going to be so much fun. I'm excited that you are making your spreadsheet play today there. That's at 11:30 p.m. So, get your booze ready for tonight, because San Diego State Aztecs against UNLV Rebels will be a fun way to end the night. UNLV is a real team now. They're a real team. Domigan says Jets know how to shut the Oilers down even in a loss. Held them to 4 goals on back-to-back. Yeah, but this is a different situation. So very different to me. And look, my mom and stepdad are shrinks. So obviously I'm going to lean towards more of the psychological aspects of a game, which is generally how I enjoy capping. And it's the most fun part of capping for me. And that was a playoff game. Winnipeg Edmonton was a playoff game. Both of them were playoff games, especially that last night's game after Winnipeg won 5-2 at home. It was so intense. It was so exciting. It was just great hockey. This is not going to be a playoff game, Dom. They're not going to be as sharp for this one as you would be for Connor McDavid and the Edmonton Oilers. So I see it as kind of being played differently with this terrible penalty killing. So, yes, Hellebuck is a great goaltender. And Nate Schmidt's been better than I imagined. Let's get into that right now. Josh Point in the house. We got to hang out with Josh Point in Montreal. In Miami. Great to see Josh Point rolling with us right now. All right, let's go over this here. Let's just go over the market moves and the cash flow here. Still have the Celtics-Lakers line history up. Let's move over to NHL and see what we're dealing with. So the site that I use for the market movements has been sold to a new company, and that's part of the reason why it's been so shite for us here. And there's Tony Cobbs with the $5 dono. Tony, thank you so much for your ongoing support, man. It means the world to us. We love capping with you, and truly, truly do love capping with you. And you inspire us to fight harder, try harder, work harder. Here we go. This total has moved to 6 at Pinnacle. Well, that's exactly what we want to see. That is exactly what we want to see. It moved to 6 at Pinnacle at 9:59 this morning. Beautiful. And the under sitting at -120. That's great. That's exactly what I want to see. All right, let's break this down a little more. Scheifele starting the – let's take a look at the cash flow here. Sorry, very quickly here. The cash flow in this spot. Oh, man, I can't – oh, this side's messing up. All right, I'm just going to leave – this side is messing up right now, so I'm just going to leave the NBA – up for cash flow. God, that's annoying. All right, let's break this down. So Jets on the second half of back-to-back after losing 2-1 shootout to the Oilers last night. Scheifele starting to heat up, so the attention moves to Blake Wheeler. 0 goals, 5 assists. His 5 assists in 11 games played. Now, we should probably give him the benefit of the doubt, but it makes that more difficult when you have a base salary of $10 million this year and a cap hit of $8.25 million this year and next year and the year after that. 35-year-old Blake Wheeler. Jets fans got to be worried about paying him $8.25 million in 2 years as a 37-year-old if he can't score goals as a 35-year-old. Andrew Kopp and Pierre-Luc Dubois are stepping up this year. And Nate Schmidt, 1 goal, 10 assists, +9 is shocking to me. He was so bad last year. Ever since he got popped for PEDs, he's been a bum in my estimation. And it was another one of Benning's terrible, terrible decisions. Trading a 4th round. It's not that we traded the 4th round pick. It's that let the Knights figure out what to do with them. Let it hurt the Knights because they got rid of Schmidt. They were able to sign the deal for Pietrangelo. I mean, we're giving a good team opportunities to get better, and they need them. They rely so heavily on Neil Pionk and Josh Morrissey. Paul Stastny remains out of the lineup. Canucks coming off their 5th straight loss, 4-2 at home versus the Avalanche on Wednesday night. Elias Pettersson is driving me crazy. He's playing so badly. 3 goals in 17 games. Listen to this. He has 3 points, 5-on-5 this year. 3 points, 5-on-5 this year. He wins 31.3% of his faceoffs. I cannot be the only one seeing this. Jesus, he's bad with his fucking toddler shoulders, not winning any faceoffs, not doing anything 5-on-5. A fucking bum. Move JT Miller back to center. 18 points in 17 games, wins 56% of his draws. But Pettersson is the center on that line. Trash. Jason Dickinson is our 3rd line center. 1 goal, 1 assist in 15 games, and wins 38.1% of your faceoffs. What do you need out of a 3rd line center? Win your faceoffs. Be accountable defensively. God, this team is trash. Jim Benning. What a fucking bum. Brandon Sutter is feeling better, says Jim Benning. God, that fucking guy. He hasn't played this season. Still experiencing symptoms from COVID. Luke Schen's considered week to week. And look, he's one of the worst Corsi players in the league, but at least he'll fight somebody. At least he'll protect his own players. The Canucks are trash. Fire everybody. Cut the team. Send them somewhere else. Relegate them. Fucking bums. But I don't want the Jets here. After playing that emotional game against the Oilers, I'm just going to be on the over 5.5. Slot says Pedersen's so soft. What a fucking bum. Okay, sorry about that. A little angry. Robert Cherry in the house says, I'm crushing the props. Only 2 games today. Any thoughts? You called that at the beginning of the season the toddler. I did. But I hate being right with that because it's, the Canucks Vancouver's in a huge flood. At least the Canucks could bring a little bit of joy to the city. Piker says you have to consider the Canucks have more than likely expended a lot of energy on the Chutzpah Festival, which runs until the 24th. Okay, all right, let's go on. All right, let's go on. Okay, let's go. And Dan says, I see Winnipeg 86% of cash, 82% of tickets, over 98% of cash, 88% of tickets. Well, that's great. I love seeing that. I can't believe that. It did. Sorry, I did just move over. Okay, sorry. It's just taking a little while for this. So, yeah, I have I have very different sports insights right now. I have 39% of the tickets on the money line on the Canucks and 54% of the cash. And 82% of the tickets on the over and no cash yet up. And then we go over to Colorado, Seattle. This game pops off at 10 p.m. Eastern. Avalanche 7-5-1, 3-3-0 on the road at Seattle. Kraken 4-11-1, 3-5-0 at home. We're at Climate Pledge Arena in Seattle, Washington. Darcy Kemper 7-4-0, 2.56 goals against average, .916 save percentage. Going up against Philippe Grubauer 4-8-1, 3.18 goals against average, .877 save percentage. My first thought was, could Grubauer step up against his old team? Because this is a great opportunity for him. He's had a shit season so far, .877 save percentage. Is this the spot where he could step up against them? Colorado power play 19.6, penalty killing 85.3. Seattle power play 12.5%, penalty killing 81.3%. Avs coming in off their third straight win, 4-2 at Vancouver on Wednesday. We talked about McKinnon and Comfort being out. Let's take a look at what the market is here for this spot. Sorry, let's move over here. We have the total opening up at 6.5. Wow, it's come down to 6. And from a money line perspective, we have Colorado opening up at -169. They're now -138. Wow. So I could have got Seattle at +130, and I wasn't sure. Now you can get them at +120. There's Joe Free in the house. Jason Albert says, love the Kraken here. Look, I get it, but let's talk a little more about the spot. So McKinnon and Comfort out. Bowen Byram concussion protocol. They did get Devin Taves back. This is a very, very good defense. Seattle comes in off their 5th straight loss, 4-2 at home to the Blackhawks on Wednesday night. Jordan Eberle's a -10 in 16 games played. -10. He does have 8 goals and 5 assists. Jaden Schwartz is a -8. And I don't think it's all their fault. I think the fault lies on their defense that we overrated. This defense, Mark Giordano looks done. Vince Dunn and Jamie Olesiak are not as good as we thought, I guess, at least at this point. They're not top 4 defensemen. And neither is Adam Larson. So they don't look good. And you know what? It's just not enough for me. And I know that this is probably a great spot for Kraken backers. Only 21% of the tickets are on Seattle. 2,610 tickets in, but 66% of the cash. That's a nice spot to be in. Oh, that's on the spread. God, my bad. Sorry. Didn't sleep much last night. 14% of the tickets are on the money line for Seattle and 14% of the cash, and it's moved that far towards Seattle. So I'm just not comfortable. 68% of tickets are on the under. We've seen it move from 6.5 to 6. Brian Watson on Colorado. Dennis Trust said, I love the Kraken here. Oh, I'm not talking about the hockey team. I get it. I love the Kraken as well. All right, and then that's it, man. Brady said, I think the value's on the under here. Kraken are working hard to lower their goals against. I'm really liking the under here more than the side. I think that there's a lot of truth to that. And then when we look at hockey, at this point for me, I just want to focus on tomorrow's card. So that will be what I'll be spending my afternoon on. I'm going to be attacking Saturday's NHL card. And that is what's up. So let's move on to NBA. So in NHL for me right now, I think that Birdie has a nice idea here with that under 6. Let's just see what did Bet365 offer this at 6.5 too? They did. They opened it at 6.5, so we could have taken the under 6.5 last night. Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think that Grubauer probably steps up. I just got a little caught up in his stats and didn't want to do it, but I think that is an interesting look, Bertie, that I certainly wouldn't talk you off of. The only spot for me, though, is the 5.5, over 5.5 in Jets Canucks. All right. Trevor Loudon says putting some DGen lunch money on the Tim Hortons curling trials this weekend. Okay, let's move on to, and let us know who you're hammering, because we all need more action in our lives. And curling is only fun when you have heavy action on it. All right, let's move on to NBA and bring in your NBA expert here every Friday night, sitting with a record on the show of 9-8 plus 0.35 units, average line minus 108. And I love his thoughtful handicapping. Can't wait to have him back in action with us here on Betting with the Bag. Please welcome to the show. It's Derl in the house. What's happening, my man? How are you?
I am good. Jay, what's good with you, baby?
I'm just frustrated with NBA. I know I'll get some of these bounces back, but to lose the Wizards first quarter plus 1.5 when they're up 19-12 with 2.5 minutes left in the quarter, and to miss 8 straight shots, and Raul Nato missing 2 foul shots, to miss 8 straight shots, and then I lose it by a hook, right? I lose it by a half point.
Yeah.
And I have plus money. I get plus money on the spot too. I had a plus 105, a plus 1. It's very, very irritating, and things are just not falling for me right now. And I'm going to keep firing. For how much longer? I don't know.
I thought it was me, Jay. I really did think it was me. And a lot of it still is, but basketball is just so funny right now. It's so very, very funny. So this is a bounce back day for me. I won a couple and then gave it all back the other day. Looked at some games last night and kind of was glad I'd stayed off completely for the most part. And today looks okay, man, but a lot of sticky situations. So I'm happy to get into it and talk ball once again, man, and happy to be with you, brother. So let's get into it.
Let's get into it. We do have Dutch Boy Fresh rolling with us. There's Matty Ice as well. Darryl getting love here from the chat. Richly deserved, and Dutchy coming off a monster day. We did give you a shout out, Dutch. A little 4-in-1 day thing of beauty. And he's now 13-6 plus 6.89 units. And I love it. I love when everybody around us is succeeding. It just makes us want to succeed that much more. And you want to hang out with winners. You want your friends to win. Like it all works together.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I like the group that you have, Jimmy. Like I said from the very beginning, it was really an honor to be a part of this club because Wham, Ski, Dutch, these guys are heavy hitters, man. They've been doing this for a very long time, so it's really good to be involved. And I don't want to bring any of these guys down, man. So I got to make sure I do my part here. So we've got some looks.
I love it. You've already locked in a bet. We'll talk about that down the road. I've locked in one bet as well, but let's roll through the cards starting now. We start at 7 p.m. Eastern. Indiana Pacers 6-10, 2-8 on the road at Charlotte Hornets 9-7, 5-2 at home. We're at the Spectrum Center in Charlotte, North Carolina. Indiana's pace 28th in the NBA at 94.4 possessions a game, while Charlotte's pace right now is 8th. Sorry, pulling this up. 8th at 100.60 possessions a game. Right. This right now opens with Charlotte at -2.5, and then it moves down to -2. And that threw me for a loop. So, of course, I went to the cash, and there you have it. Just 3,038 tickets in. Only 24% of the tickets on the Pacers and 77% of the cash. Then we have 71% of tickets on the over, 70% of cash on the over. Pacers come in off their second consecutive loss, 97-89 at Detroit on Wednesday night. Chris Duarte, a right shoulder soreness, questionable for tonight's game. Brogdon has led Indiana in scoring in 4 of its last 5. Hornets coming off their 4th straight win, 97-87 at home over Washington on Wednesday. PJ Washington with the left elbow hyperextension will miss the game. He's been out since November 3rd. Look, I believe in what I've seen from Charlotte, and the fact that all the sharps are all over Indiana made me just sit back and say, let's hear what Darryl has to say about this spot. Take it away, Pacers, Hornets.
Okay, so I like this game. So I'm going to tell you right now, I'm playing Indy first half here, okay? So, Jimmy, when we first started, remember, they played in the first week, and Indy had their number. And then we talked about how Charlotte had went on like a 25-0 run in which you did not see the head coach, I can't think of his name right now, Carlisle, call a timeout to stop the bleeding there. Remember that. Indy had them. Indy is still a good first half team. They are still a great first half team. They actually stand out and beat Charlotte in the first half. What wound up happening that game was the 32-13 rout Charlotte went on in the second half. Now, we've got to start having a discussion about Borrego and his adjustments he makes in the second half. I told you, man, I don't know if he just goes back into the locker room and everybody just takes cocaine. I don't know what it is, but these guys get involved in the second half. So when looking at this game, this is a revenge spot for Indy here. And now you have Caris LeVert, right, who actually is doing some justice playing with this team. I believe he had 18 last game. This is a game, in my opinion, where Indy should get right. Just looking over, they've lost against Detroit. They've lost against New York. They've beat Philly. They've beaten Utah. And they lost against Denver. This is a game to where I feel that if they lose, it's going to happen in the second half. And with the addition to Caris LeVert back and how this team plays in the first half, I believe this is an Indy first half spread all day. So right now I'm taking that. If you don't have it already, Indy first half, that should be +1, I believe. I'm taking that Indy first half +1. I'm all on it. This is a revenge spot for them for whatever it's worth. And I know I say that a lot, for whatever it's worth. Charlotte has been playing some serious defense. They have been playing some serious defense, but a defensive game is the type of game Indy plays best as well. Remember, we've talked about also Malcolm Brogdon being a guy who sets the pace and tempo. I believe he can do that here alongside Caris LeVert playing in this game, in which he wasn't in last game. This is a revenge game for Carlisle. This is a revenge game that came down to the last bucket that DeMontis had missed, or they would have won that game. I like Indy first half. Take it.
Well, let's lock it in. At this point, I can only find – let's see if we can fix this with FanDuel. Yeah, at this point, there's only plus halves across the board. Plus a half, -105, plus a half, -105, or we could go into the money line side of things, and you get a +105 at Will Hill or +104 at Pinnacle. +105 or plus a half at -105.
Let's go. I'm going to go Indy money line.
All right. Pacers, first half money line at +105 for Derl, getting his card started. Piker agreeing with that look. And there's congratulations going on that I've missed. I got to figure out what I'm – okay, I will try to – figure out what I've missed for the okay, we're gonna keep rolling. Dennis Trusty said it's Daryl's agent calling right now. Pacers first half +1 +105. All right, let's move on. Puzzler saying he likes the under quite a bit so far. Yeah, we've seen a ton of unders, and this total, by the way, has gone from that's first half. Sorry, this total has gone from here we go, 216 down to 214 or 214.5. All right, let's move on to your first spot on the board that you locked in last night. You locked in the Warriors, and this has gone against you, this market move.
Absolutely. I'm not even scared. But, yeah, I did see that. Went from 9.5 to 7.
Yes, interesting. Warriors pace. Last 5 games, 13th in the NBA at 99.20 possessions a game. Detroit pace 15th at 98.50 possessions a game. Warriors on the second half of back-to-back after their 104-89 win at Cleveland last night. Steph at 9 trays, 40 points. They were down 81-68 heading into the fourth. Outscore the Cavs 36-8. Curry scores 20 in the fourth. Iguodala was not in the lineup, but rest, injury management. He should be back today. Wiseman expected to return late next week. Pistons coming off their second win in 3 games, 97-89 at home over the Pacers on Wednesday night. Corey Joseph scored a season-high 18 points. He had played 6 minutes in the previous game. Kelly Olynyk out until January. Let's see if there are sharps on the Pistons. Yeah, it looks like that is the case. 4,072 tickets in. 15% of the tickets on the Pistons, 35% of the cash on the Pistons. Then 63% of tickets on the over, and 82% of cash on the over. This over opened up at 210.5, and Pinnacles dropped it all the way down to 207. Take it away, Darryl.
Yeah, so what I liked about this game, and the reason why I took it early, was because you are not going to see harder defense played on a team than what Cleveland did to Golden State yesterday. And Golden State managed to get themselves out of trouble and was able to have a late cover, right? So I liked what I saw. This kind of tells me this, Jimmy. I kind of feel you could have a late scratch with one of the stars, be it Steph, be it Dre, be it both, right? Just for rest, because it's a back-to-back. And Detroit has had the rest, which means they've had a day to game plan against Golden State. But if you don't understand what Curry's doing, this is telling me Curry played 13 people last night. 13 people last night. So what that tells me, honestly, is that you can win by committee here. Even if you don't have Curry, you still have Damian Lee. You still have Gary Mittens. You still have Poole. You still have Juan Toscano-Anderson. You still have Kevin Looney, who only gave you 2 points last night, right? I don't care if Curry isn't playing. If he isn't playing, it still doesn't stop the defense. Okay, let's take a step back here real quick. Are you trying to tell me that Steph Curry is the best defender on Golden State? Hell no. Hell no, that's not the case. So if Curry sits, that's just more points for Wiggins. This team could still get it done. This could still be a double-digit blowout. I believe the line movement is reactive because it is a back-to-back. Even if Curry does sit, that's fine. I'm still happy with the 9.5. I believe they can get it done against Detroit. Detroit is bottom in the league in defensive efficiency. You want me to tell you what team that you don't get your defense right with? Golden State. You don't get right with Golden State. It's just not happening. That's not a team that you could game plan for and say, okay, this is a get-right game for us. They're just too good. They're too efficient on defense themselves, and they can still score. They have a ton of scores. And their defense, for what it's worth, one of your best defender is probably Gary Mittens, right? Probably. So in this instance here, I know a lot of people would be scared of the number. I took that number at 9.5. It is steamed down. I wouldn't be surprised if this game got out of hand for Detroit early. If you are afraid of the number, take Golden State first half. They still beat Detroit, even with their lower scoring, 57-54. So this is a game that Detroit is not going to be able to get right on, no matter how you game plan. It could be close in the first. It'll start to get away. Remember, Golden State is your best third quarter team. So I still like Golden State to take this one. That's why I took it at 9.5 yesterday. Even if people rest, I'm still happy with the number.
Very, very interesting situation here. Dan Kelly saying, like I just said in this chat, what happened last night in Cleveland in the fourth quarter is because the Cavs were shorthanded, and more importantly, Cavs were playing their 5th game in 7 nights. Any team could have done it, says our guy Dan Kelly. And Matty Ice, Taint Play of the Day is in. Clemson against St. Bonaventure. And that is the first game that Max, I believe that's the first game. No, it's not. That's the second game that Max is breaking down. Max starts off his card with Bradley, Colorado State, that goes off at 1 o'clock. And this show also, just I digress, apologies for that, but is perfect for Max because he can't use the NCAA games in his 5 o'clock show that happened in the daytime. He can put them all out here, so it works there. All right, let's make a move on through this card. That was game 2, Warriors, Pistons. Next up, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, Los Angeles Lakers, 8-8, 1-3 on the road at Boston Celtics, 7-8, 2-3 at home. We're at TD Garden in Boston, Massachusetts. The Lakers pace last 5 games, 6th in the NBA, 100.80 possessions a game, while Boston is 26th at 95.51 possessions a game. Sunny Springs in the house. Great to see you, Sunny. We move over to the market and the cash. Right now we have the Celtics opening up at -2. Interesting. I thought that – so – this is saying the Pinnacle never moved it to -1. I was pretty certain they did. I'm just going to check Bet365 here because I saw -1 there. No, it's back at -2 as well. Very, very, very interesting. And there's a little bit more juice, money coming in on Boston now. It's moved to -109. So, and at Pinnacle, that means it is juiced. So that's up to the second information. Then we go over to the cash flow in this spot, and just 1,828 tickets in, 28% of the tickets, 49% of the cash on the Lakers. So it still looks like there's sharp action there. Then on the under as well, 48% of the tickets, but 67% of the cash. Lakers opened up their road trip with their second straight loss, 109-102 at Milwaukee on Wednesday night. Taylor Horton Tucker, God, he does not look like a 20-year-old out there. Led the Lakers in scoring for a second straight game with 25 points. LeBron James abdominal strain, is officially listed as questionable. So 2 days ago, he said we all expected that he was going to make his return to action here tonight, but we're not certain if that is the case. Lakers have lost 3 of their last 4, 5 of 8 since James left November 2nd after that win over Houston. Anthony Davis, right thigh contusion is probable. He was recently listed as probable due to a sprained right thumb. It's always something with the brow. Austin Reeves, Kendrick Nunn, Trevor Ariza remain out for the Lakers. Boston lost their second in 3 games, 110-99 at Atlanta on Wednesday night. That was an easy catcher for us on Atlanta, one of the few I've had this year. Tatum had 34 points and 9 boards. Grant Williams matched his career high with 18 points. Dennis Schroeder had 15. Horford had 13 and grabbed 7 boards. Jaylen Brown is questionable. I wonder if it's that Jaylen Brown will be back in the lineup. Brown's been sidelined since November 4th. And Robert Williams also questionable. So a lot of big players, important players that are questionable. Let's hand it over to our man, Darryl. Take it away.
So you know how I feel about my Lakers, man. Lakers could have beat the Bucks. They could have beat the Bucks. What killed the Lakers in that game against the Bucks was their 3-point shooting. They went on a stretch where they were, I believe, 0 for 14 in the second half. It killed them. They wound up shooting 28% from the 3 and still lost that game. Was it 102-109? I pushed that game because I got him at +7, so I pushed that game. I believe this is a Lakers spot. I do believe this is a Lakers spot. I believe the Lakers can come out and outright win this game against Boston. Now, we have kind of, some theories going on here, and that star player theories, right? Do we fade this team if the star player comes back? And if Jaylen Brown's coming back, is that the star player that we fade? Or if LeBron James is coming back, is that the star player that we fade? So all in all, what I did and do like about Lakers now is their defense is starting to pick up a little bit. I'm seeing that. I'm still seeing Vogel kind of use some rotations that, don't kind of make sense to me. He's still in that figure it out mode. But in my opinion, Jimmy, I don't think the Lakers could lose 3 games in a row. I really don't. Now, maybe you're seeing action now come on to Boston because these set players are going to come back, right? And if that's the case, this is a close game. If it's a close game, then it goes to the Lakers' favor, in my opinion. So right now, my lean is the Lakers. I don't believe that they're going to lose this game. You might see Boston kind of, if they're getting in trouble, you might see them kind of hold off a little bit because they are in the first of their back-to-back. They play tomorrow. Now, mind you, it's against Detroit, I believe, but that's a game they lost. So this is a game to where you've heard enough noise from the Lakers about how sorry they are that if LeBron comes back, he is going to play balls to the wall. So my lean would be the Lakers money line. Probably by the end of the show, I might get there. But this line movement is telling me something. It's gone from 1 to 1.5, now to 2. I do believe this is a get-right game for the Lakers, and it's not a game that if LeBron comes back, that it's going to be hard for him, in my opinion. So I do like the Lakers here. That is my lean. I haven't gotten there just yet, but I just may get there. Lakers money line. What's the vig on that?
I'll get the Lakers money line up here for you. Let's just say, while I'm looking for that, let's just say that LeBron and Jaylen Brown are both in the lineup. Do you agree with this market move towards the over, opening up at 213 at Pinnacle and now up to 215 at Pinnacle? They're leading the way there. They're the only book that's at 215.
Yeah, that one's weird. It seems like for LA, they always take the over when that line is about 216, 215. Just looking at Miami, that went over. 215 was the line spread. Chicago, that went over. 216.5 was a line spread. Houston, they went over, obviously. That was in early this month. That was 219.5. So when you get the teams, it's like you have to take it. But also, again, Boston isn't getting past the century mark a lot as well. I mean, Boston right now, they lost against Atlanta, 99. They won against Cleveland, 98 points. They lost against Cleveland the first game, 89 points. Had to go into overtime to get to 122 against Milwaukee. So that kind of makes sense. But best believe if LeBron plays, there's going to be some up-tempo and pace. I do believe it. I do believe there will be some scoring. They're not going to come out and shoot that bad again from the 3. So at 214.5, it seems like a sweet spot. If that's the case, I would definitely still shoot the over. I can see this game getting to 217, 218.
I love it. I enjoy capping with you immensely, Darryl. Patrick says, not jumping on a trash Laker team. AD could barely move second half of last game. They were relying on Horton to score. Blah. THC's Rizza says, revenge game for Schroeder. Dennis Garcia says, LeBron will control the pace. Says, no, Bron. Russ controls the pace over. All
right. Jimmy, it's funny how people, Lakers is that team that people love to shit on. They love to hate, right? So I think people watch games with a lot of bias. And if you pay attention to what they're doing, they're actually getting better, right? And AD, we know he falls down every play. We know it. The guy is fragile as fucking Charmin. Soft as Charmin, if you want to call it that. I saw one guy say AD or Humpty Dumpty because he's always broken. But you just got to pay attention to the game and what they're doing. And they've got a lot of set pieces. Malik Monk can get on fire, right? This game could go any way, but in my opinion, this is not a team that's going to lose 3 in a row.
I love it. There you have it. That is Lakers Celtics, a storied rivalry. I had a best friend that died now, 10 years ago of stomach cancer, and we put him in palliative care on a Friday, and that night was Game 7 of the Lakers Celtics, and we went into this bar, and we were heavy, just heavy with emotion, not talking to each other, not saying anything. I brought my Paul Pierce jersey in my backpack, so I threw on my Pierce jersey, and we got in 7 minutes left into the bar. 7 minutes left, Game 7. Lakers are about to win the NBA championship. And this guy gets up. He's with all his boys, big, head of the table. He's got all these chains, big guy. And he gets up and he starts slow clapping, and he's got the Kobe jersey. And then there's this second of silence. And my buddy Rob Pugh goes, nice tits, Kobe. And Jesus, all hell broke loose. The guy jumped over a table to get to Rob's shirt. He ripped Rob's shirt completely off, got one punch in. Then the girls that we were with were trying to stop. They're like, his friend's dying. But we came very close to just getting this shit kicked out of us. Sorry, let's move on to 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Orlando Magic 4-11, 3-5 on the road at Brooklyn Nets, 11-5, 5-3 at home. Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. Orlando pace 11th in the NBA. Last 5 games, 99.7 possessions a game. Brooklyn pace 3rd at 101.20 possessions a game. Let's move on to the cash flow in this spot. We have, I'm still on money line. Let's go back to spreads and totals. We have Orlando opening up as 13-point dogs, now 12.5-point dogs. This total at 213.5, now 214 or 214.5. When we get over to the cash flow, we have 2,610 tickets in. 16% of the tickets on the Magic, 29% of the cash. Then 63% of tickets on the under and 90% of cash on the under. Orlando snapped their 3-game losing streak with a 104-98 win at the Knicks. Orlando shot 57.1% in that final quarter. And they went on a run. And they only shot 40.6% in the game, but they stepped up. It's possible that Suggs will be back in the lineup. Etwan Moore, Michael Carter-Williams, Markel Fulda, Jonathan Isaac all remain out indefinitely. The Nets bounce back after an ugly loss to the Warriors by beating Cleveland 109-99 on Wednesday night. They're 9-2 over their last 11. Those 2 losses were bad, double-digit losses. Bulls and Warriors. Harden scored 27. Durant scored 23. That's after Durant was just 6 for 19 against the Warriors. Aldridge goes for 14 of his 24 in the fourth. Patty Mills has a big game. Now, Nicholas Claxton, non-COVID illness, still is not close to returning. So I don't know what's going on there. Paul Millsap has been ruled out for personal reasons. Joe Harris will not play Friday. This is now his 3rd straight game that he's going to miss. All right, take it away, Darryl. Magic Nets.
Yeah, I'm off this game, man. The reason why is I just can't seem to get it right with the Nets. I really can't, Jay. Last week, I was like, give me the Nets minus. I don't give a fucking shit what the spread is. Didn't work. Took the Nets team total first half the week before. They give you 39 total points in the first half. So this game here, this game screams blowout, right? Orlando plays tomorrow, and it really doesn't get any easier for them. They play Milwaukee twice at Milwaukee, and then they play Charlotte, right? So this is going to be a lot of games, a lot of competition for Orlando, to where you're going to see that if anything, you're going to see that record plummet a little. So they do win against New York for whatever it's worth, man. New York is not looking like New York right now. I don't know what's going on over there. They're just looking like complete trash. But this is a game that screams blowout. But Brooklyn also played yesterday, right? Or no, they played on the 17th. So they have a little time to game plan and rest against Orlando. And because of that, it screams blowout. The last time they played, that spread was 10.5. They blew them out by 33 points. The books gave you another 2 points, just knowing that this is going to be another blowout since Brooklyn doesn't play again until the 21st. I just see a blowout here, but I can't seem to gauge the Nets the right way for whatever reason. I don't know, or unbeknownst to me, I just cannot gauge this team. It would be just like Brooklyn to go out and just lay a goose egg here. And it would be just like Orlando to come out and be really competitive these next 4 games, if you will. This one, the 2 of Milwaukee and Charlotte. I don't see it happening. Orlando is still a shit bottom tier team. And it's not a team I want any interest in until, at least they get all their set pieces back. They still don't have a full roster. So for right now, this is definitely a no play for me. I believe that spread is pretty high at this point, even though Brooklyn can come out and just smack them up and beat them by 30 points again. So this is a pass for me.
Yeah, I prefer to back the Magic, not after they beat the Knicks.
Yeah.
At Madison Square Garden. It just doesn't – they're going to really come in and fight with the Nets in this spot.
Yeah.
But I can understand not wanting the Nets at this price. Bargath Prashant, is on the Nets minus 12.5. I do not want this spot here. Danny H says, ever since they changed the way they call fouls, Harden hasn't been the same. Harden isn't Harden anymore. Plus 12.5 Magic all day.
But he is adjusting, though. He is adjusting. He's getting a little better at it. He was the main one complaining. He was the main one complaining to the point where Steve Nash had to get up and say a couple things. But still, man, come on. I mean, for real. He's getting a little better at adjusting to this new offensive rule.
Let's move on to the next spot. Astute Chaos says, Darryl, Brooklyn first quarter minus 3.5 on Saturday. Even that was a sweater. Let's move on. And Carl Luder's looking at Magic first quarter plus 4.5. I love those dogs in first quarter so much. Oklahoma City 6-8, 2-4 on the road at Milwaukee Bucks 7-8, 2-4 at home. We're at Pfizer Forum. Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Oklahoma pace last 5, 12th in the NBA, 99.5 possessions a game, while Milwaukee's pace 16th at 97.37 possessions a game. Milwaukee opened up. It's a very similar situation to the game we just talked about. Milwaukee opened up at 13-point favorites. They're now 12.5. This total opened up at 216. It has dropped to 214. When we go over to the cash flow in this spot, we have Milwaukee, 2,559 tickets in. 42% of the tickets are on Milwaukee, 93% of the cash. So big bets coming in on Milwaukee. Then 58% tickets on the under, 59% of cash on the under. We thought that this homestand, this 5-game homestand, was a nice opportunity for them to get right. Let's start with Oklahoma City. They snapped their 2-game losing streak with a 101-89 win at home over the Rockets on Wednesday. Against Dort, making us proud up here. A Montreal boy, 20 or more points in 5 straight games, 34 in Wednesday's game. Bucks snapped their 2-game losing streak with a 109-102 win at home over the Lakers on Wednesday. The win was the first time since October 23rd that Middleton, Antetokounmpo, and Drew Holiday were all in the lineup. With the big 3 in action, they're 3-0 this season. With 1 or more of them out, they're 4-8. Brooke Lopez is close to returning. Dante DiVincenzo remains out. George Hill is expected back. Here we go, Darryl. Thunder, Bucks, take it away.
Yeah, so we've got here 2 teams that are going to play tomorrow, I believe, right? Yeah, so OKC is going to go to Boston. They're still traveling. And Milwaukee is doing their own little homestand against some bottom-tier teams, right? They're going to play Orlando twice and Detroit. So this is an easy homestand for Milwaukee, in my opinion. And because the team is easy, I just believe Milwaukee can go out there and score to win, but not really care about this spread. They're playing at home, and they do have Drew back, which is a great addition here. And so this is a game also I wanted to pass on. I believe the spread is high, and I believe this is a game to where if you looked at it, I took some notes down. You know, they're kind of neck and neck on their first half points. Where OKC comes alive is in their second quarter. Their second quarter, they do pretty good second quarter. Milwaukee takes a substantial drop in the second quarter. So this is a game that could be really close in the first half, and I believe Vegas is going to take a lot of money because people are going to look at this line, and they're going to say that full game line is too high. I'll take the first half. And they'll take it at a lower number. But this is, to me, is a trap game. I believe it's a trap game. I don't believe that Minnesota or Milwaukee here is very motivated to play these bottom tier teams. You're going to probably have just some new actions being ran because you have bottom tier teams. It's a back-to-back, so you can see Milwaukee turning off the gas here late in the fourth or early in the fourth quarter if it gets out of hand for them. And that's just a backdoor cover written all over it. All the money is on Milwaukee, but the line has gone down to 12.5 in some books. So I believe this is kind of a trap game here to a certain degree. What can get out of hand for Milwaukee or for OKC is if Milwaukee starts shooting the three really well. That was also turned on. That three water faucet was turned on in the second half against the Lakers. And I honestly believe that at any given time, you got Chris Middleton out there and Drew Holiday out there, they can make these threes rain. And that's the only thing I could see getting out of hand for OKC. But on the flip side, they're kind of evenly matched, Jay, when it comes to the first half. Second quarter is a great quarter for OKC. And so don't be trapped. If you're going to take this game, take it full game. But don't be trapped in that first half because that's a lower number. I wouldn't do that. So when I saw that stat, I was like, let me just stay away from this game completely. They both play tomorrow, even though it's a shit team against Detroit. OKC goes and plays Boston. So it doesn't get any easier. So if you want to get a game to where you want to get some rhythm going, you want to try to get it now, right? While you both have a back-to-back. So this was a stay away game for me. I believe it is kind of trappy here. That line is too high. And don't get trapped also into the first half because they're kind of even as well.
What do you think of the Bucks team total first quarter coming out looking good, feeling smooth? It's high. It's at 29.5. And I probably stay away from it at this point because it's juiced to the over at -125. So clearly bets have come in on the first quarter over. That first half is at 59.5. What do you think about and we've seen the Thunder get better as games go on. So that backdoor cover, I agree, is in play. And I think it's very important to note that 90% of the cash is on the Bucks, and yet it's moved a half point towards the Thunder. What do you think of the team total for the first quarter for the Bucks and or first half, 29.5, 59.5 respectively?
Okay, so looking at it, Milwaukee is fourth in scoring, right? When it comes to first quarter, they're averaging 29.3 or 29 rather. Last three, they've averaged 28, and the last one they had 30, right? Now, I just looked at their opponents' points per game in the first quarter. They're allowing their opponents 29 points as well. So if I were to take an angle, I would probably stay away from the spread there also, right? Because they're pretty much evenly matched in what they're allowing. And I would really, really look at that first quarter. Kind of scares me because it seems like they're right where they need to be. If they're averaging 29 points and they're giving you 29 points, I think it's one of those things where it could be a coin flip. So I wouldn't touch the first quarter. If anything, look at the total points. And so you're probably at about 53 or so. If Milwaukee's allowing those points to be scored, Oklahoma City can score those points. So I would look at the total for the first quarter and the total for the first half.
Interesting. I like that. The first half's at 111. First quarter's at 55. What's the pace they're playing against that in the first? I think that's an interesting way of looking at 12, 15, 55.
That backs up my point. Looking at it right now, OKC averages more points than Milwaukee in the second quarter. Right? So they actually do a little better in the second quarter than Milwaukee. So if Milwaukee's allowing that many points, this could be a game to where personally I would look. I know it could be square as fuck, But it's one of those things to where if they're allowing that many points in the first quarter, if that's their average, then you may want to look at that over as well, because it could be one of those things. Look at the first half over, because it's pretty low enough to where the first half could easily go over. If you're at 107, 108, this could be easily where these two teams have 55 points apiece in the first half.
Great breakdown. I've got sick kids at home right now, so sorry about the noise in the background. That first quarter over is very interesting at 55, and I need to give it some more thought, but I kind of like it. Jared TG says if Giannis wants to go off in this game, he will. Who on OKC can slow him down? And Uncle Oliver says 37 points in the first quarter today for the Bucks. So, wow.
Yeah, I mean, if Giannis goes off, he's going to have to sit one of these games, right, for rest. If he goes off tonight, then he's going to have to sit one of these next 3 games. Just rest him, on just to give him the rest that he needs. So if he does go off, this will be the game that he does go off, but just probably depend on him resting the next game against Orlando.
Let's roll on, and shout out to Morgan Spooner coming out of Laughing Gas, got all 4 wisdom teeth ripped out. Thank you for joining us, my man. Looks like you're in a perfect spot right now to find winners. Let's move on to 8 p.m. Eastern. Los Angeles Clippers 9-5, 2-2 on the road at New Orleans Pelicans 2-14, 1-6 at home. Smoothie King Center in New Orleans, Louisiana. Clippers playing second fastest pace in the NBA. Look how much slower it is since, go back 2 years or a year even. The second fastest pace over the last 5 games, just 101.4 possessions a game. New Orleans 27th at 95.40 possessions a game. We go over to the cash flow in this spot. We have the Clippers opening up as 3.5-point favorites. This total opened up at 216. It's now at 215.5 at Pinnacle. The cash flow in this game, we have 2,395 tickets in, 15% of the tickets on the Pelicans, 18% of the cash on the Pelicans. Then we have 69% of the tickets on the under, but just 45% of cash on the under. Clippers are on the second half of a back-to-back after losing 121-108 at Memphis last night. They were down 56-53 at the half and then just completely fell apart, which is good for us. But Batum, right, Achilles soreness, missed Thursday's game. He was originally listed as doubtful and wasn't in. And Amir Coffey started in Batum's place because they still wanted to bring Terrence Mann, who is dealing with an ankle injury of his own, as the 6th man. Justin Winslow out for personal reasons. Serge Ibaka playing for the G League team. He's getting closer to returning. Marcus Morris and Kawhi Leonard remain out long-term. Pelicans coming off their second straight loss, 113-98 at Miami on Wednesday night. They led by as many as 15 points in the first half. Got outscored 66-46 in the second half. New Orleans scored 34 points in the first quarter, 18 in the second, 18 in the third. 6 of 13 3-pointers in the first quarter, 4 of 22 after that, and a lot of anger in the locker room afterwards with how they kind of fell apart there. Take it away, Darryl. Clippers, Pelicans.
Yeah, give me the Clippers minus 3.5 here. I'm going to take the Clippers minus 3.5, and this seems crazy, but the reason why is I believe this is also a game to where the Clippers can steal, right? They lost against Memphis. They probably want that back, and they shot 54% from the field and still lost. 54% and still lost. So this is a game to where they make their adjustments and get right. You know who's dead last in the third quarter? New Orleans. New Orleans is dead last in the third quarter. So this is a game to where Clippers are on a back-to-back, right? This is their second from a back-to-back. This is why the number is short. But at the same token, New Orleans is about to go on their back-to-back. This is the first of their back-to-back. So it kind of matches, if you ask me. The number is short. For that reason, and obviously because you have set players out, you don't know if Batum is going to be back. He could possibly be back, but you don't know if he's going to be back. I believe the Clippers can come out strong. Well, not come out strong. It's going to be competitive in the first half because that's how New Orleans plays. But where they drop the ball and where they seem to really lose focus is in that second half. We talk about second half teams to where Charlotte is a great second half team. New Orleans is quite the opposite. And it didn't even take that third quarter last game for them to be a bad third quarter team. That's just how they roll, man. They are terrible in the second half. So I do believe the Clippers can come out and beat this team outright. All the model numbers is pointing for Clippers -6. I've even got as high as a -7. I do believe this is a Clippers spot. They can get them here. Give me Clippers -3.5.
I find this a very fishy 3.5 with all the money, 85% of the cash on the Clippers. Do you think that it's saying that one of the big guns for the Clippers will be sitting out on the second half of back-to-back?
I think the Clippers have to get up here, right? You should not have lost against Memphis, but what happened there was their third quarter meltdown. And if I'm right, they had a meltdown in the third quarter. They were up 30-20, or they were down 24-30. They got back second quarter. Memphis took them in the third quarter by 6 points and then just kind of dominated them only by 3 points in the fourth quarter. I don't think that the Clippers here could have a game like that again. Memphis being a better team than New Orleans. And this is a game, in my opinion, where the Clippers have to get right. You can ink and win out of here and still keep that momentum going. You lost to Memphis and you lost to Chicago as well. This is a game to where Clippers can play and get right and just come off with the win. So I do believe Clippers can win this game. If you're giving me 2 buckets for Cleveland to win against a team who melts down in the second half, I'll take it.
Clippers -3.5 at -105 for Derl. We move on to the next spot, 9 p.m. Eastern. Chicago Bulls 10-5, 5-3 on the road at Nuggets, 9-5, 7-1 at home. We're at Ball Arena, Denver, Colorado. Chicago paced 10th in the NBA last 5 games, 100.20 possessions a game, while Denver is the slowest team at 92.60 possessions a game. Denver opens up as 3.5-point favorites. They're now 3-point favorites. This total opens up at 209. There are a few books that have added a 209.5 to it. When we go over to the cash, you have 68% of the tickets on the Bulls, 95% of the cash, 78% of tickets on the over, 97% of cash on the over. Bulls had their 2-game winning streak snapped in a 112-107 loss at Portland on Wednesday night. This is their last game of the road trip. The Bulls have not won in Denver since February 8, 2006. They have not beaten Denver since December 2nd, 2015. So it's a 13-game losing streak in Denver, a 9-game overall losing streak to the Nuggets. DeRozan is rolling 35-38 in back-to-back games against the Clippers and the Lakers. Caruso and Javonte Green are probable. Vooch is expected next week. Yeah. Patrick Williams out long-term. Nuggets come in off their second straight loss, 103-89 at home versus an undermanned Philadelphia 76ers team. Will Barton back, but Michael Porter going to be out long-term. Take it away, Darryl. Bulls, Nuggets.
Yeah, I don't have any action here, only because these teams are very closely matched. Looking at the numbers, even the first half, do you know these teams are 18th and 19th in first half points? So they're, as far as how they play, they kind of play a similar style. They are going to play a lot slower, even though Chicago plays faster. This is a game that will work out into Denver's favor, and the reason why, and the main reason why, is because you don't have Vooch there. I don't want to touch Chicago until I see Vooch back. Alex Caruso, that risk could be bothering him. He's playing through the pain. I like Alex Caruso, so the defense will be there. But if you've got a low number, it plays into Denver's favor, personally, if you ask me. This is a game to where Denver can get right. Denver cannot lose 3 games in a row. They can't do that because they're going to play a Phoenix team who's got revenge all on their mind their next game. So you're going to play Phoenix, in which you go to them, and then you're going to go and play Portland, in which you beat them both. But Portland is starting to kind of get in their stride as well, even though they still suck. I don't know how they were able to manage to win against Chicago. But still, this is a game, in my opinion, to where Denver, that -3 is right. I believe the line is sharp. I saw this as close as -1, and some of the numbers I was running -1. This is a game I don't want to touch because I do believe this is a must-win game for Chicago to keep their momentum going, but this is also a must-win game for Denver. So this could come down to the last shot, into which someone just wins by 2 points either way. But I didn't want any action in this game because they're kind of evenly matched. And this is going to be a game, because you don't have Vooch in the game, plays into Joker's favor, right? Because we know that everything runs through Joker. He's not really getting that much help. Maybe that you don't have Michael Porter there right now. You don't have that much help at the wing guard or at the wing position. Your guard position is still kind of messed up. Even though Denver has dogs, you don't have Jamal Murray, right? So now all you're sitting on is just some dogs there. This is a game that Denver should win. You don't want to lose 3 games in a row. This is not how I see Denver going out. But at the same token, I don't think -3 is just basically home court advantage. So this game could go either way. I didn't want any action in this game.
Shout out to Eric Thomas joining us. Great to have you in the chat. THC is RZA ready to go. Those guys looking at Barton props. Let's move on to the next spot on the card. Second last game on the card. Dallas Mavericks 9-5, 3-4 on the road at Phoenix Suns 11-3, 6-2 at home. We're at the Footprint Center in Phoenix, Arizona. Dallas pace last 5 games 21st at 96.10 possessions a game, while Phoenix is 6th at 100.80 possessions a game. We have the Suns open up as 8-point favorites and now 8.5-point favorites. This total sitting open at 211.5. Is now at 211 at Pinnacle. It's dropping over there. We go over to the cash flow in this spot. 54% of the tickets, 99% of the cash. Now, only 1,967 tickets in, but all of it coming in on the Suns. And 86% of the tickets, 94% of cash on the under. We see that total dropping. So mixed messages there. Mavs had their 2-game winning streak snapped in a 105-98 loss against these Suns. It was Suns' 10th straight win. That was on Wednesday night, by the way. Luka left ankle and knee sprains, doubtful. Max Kleber oblique will not play. Jalen Brunson stepping up as a starter, and KP playing much better of late. Last 5 games, 22.8 points. Last 6 games, 8.8 boards. Frank Kaminsky, right knee soreness ruled out. It doesn't matter with the way DeAndre Ayton is playing. Makes Kaminsky not relevant. Ayton coming off 19 and 13. Take it away here, Derl, Mavericks Suns.
So we've got revenge game going on here, right? This is possibly a Dallas revenge game. Phoenix, the line was 213 last game, and the spread was 8. They went under 213, and then they also didn't cover the spread. I believe it was 7 points. 105-98. So they didn't cover the 8. Now you're going to give me that same number, and you're basically running it back. I don't believe, in my opinion, and I'd say that a lot as well, that Phoenix can cover that 8.5. I don't see it. I think this game gets closer to 7 or 6, if not Dallas really coming out to win this game. They kept that close against a team who is hot as fire right now, and they didn't even cover the 8 spread, and that's without Luka. That's without Maxey. So this is a game, in my opinion, to where Dallas could easily kind of steal. Kind of once you get these back-to-backs, these home and homes, that second game, generally that team that lost the first time comes back and wins. Very seldom do you have teams that will win them both times, or a losing team lose them both times. So this is a game that Dallas could get right on. I didn't even want to step on this game because Phoenix is that good. They've got a lot of players. They're a good defensive team, a really good defensive team. So Dallas, now that they're familiar with the actions, they're familiar with the plays that's being ran, they could probably be a little more competitive. If I'm right, looking at that box score, what got out of hand for Dallas was that fourth quarter. It was the fourth quarter. First quarter, Dallas was down by 3. First half, Dallas is winning by 1. Third quarter, Dallas is winning by 5, right? And then it just turns around fourth quarter where it's 37-25 and it just gets out of control. Maybe some garbage points if you want to add that. So I believe that Dallas could use the same game plan, keep the game a little tighter, and just make sure that they are really sharp and close at the end. And so this is a game that could easily go to Dallas. I do believe that Luka being off the floor kind of helps Porzingis in the way they seem to run a little faster. I mean, Luka does kind of, set the tempo of the game. Everything is ran through Luka. These guys play a little more free. This is a game that Dallas could easily steal. So it was a no play for me. I don't believe that Phoenix deserves the 8.5 points, considering that they've already played. So why this game is going up to Phoenix's favor, it's not something I would step on. I don't want any part of this game whatsoever because this is a game that Dallas could get. Oh, hi, baby.
Hey, Jimmy, you're muted.
Sorry. Came close. Did you come close to moving on the Mavericks at plus 8.5?
I could, but you never also want to get ahead of a streaky team, right? I mean, there's 10 in a row, bro. 10 games in a fucking row. I mean, that's a lot of games to win. So it could go either way. And so when you have a coin flip like that, I would lean Mavericks. But at the same token, I mean, you still don't want to get in front of Phoenix. They didn't cover the 8. They did not cover the 8. And it took them scoring 37 points in the fourth quarter to get to 7. Right? So this is not a game that I want any action in. Dallas could easily, use the same game plan, like I was saying, and just keep it closer in the fourth quarter. So I because it's too many moving parts there, I didn't want any action in this game at all.
All right, well, let's move on to the only bet that I've made already. Sacramento Kings -3.5 at -110, and it's still there, and that's
scary.
It makes me very uncomfortable. This total opened up at 218. It's now at 220.5 at Pinnacle. You can find it at 221. You can find it at 220. This is our last game on the board before we get into NCAA basketball. Let's move into the cash flow in this spot. We have 43% of the tickets, 51% of the cash on the Kings. So over the last, I would say 3 hours or 4 hours, it's all been Raptors money because I was hugely in favor of the Kings earlier. 40% of the tickets on the under, 67% of the cash on the under. Toronto pace last 5, 18th and 96.7 possessions a game. Sacramento 5th at 101 possessions a game. Raptors on the second half of a back-to-back after losing their third straight game, 119-103 at Utah. OG Anunoby out indefinitely with a hip pointer. Suffered in practice. That hurts. Precious Achiuwa out as well. Pascal Siakam still has not been on the floor for a win. The last game they won, he was being rested. Kings come in off a 107-97 loss at Minnesota on Wednesday night. They've lost 5 of their past 6 games, including 3 of 4 on the just completed road trip. Tristan Thompson, of all people, I was a little surprised that he was, talking about what they need to be doing differently. What are the teams they need to beat? Who are the teams they need to beat? These teams that aren't really pushing hard for victories right now. Here's one of them. I don't see why this isn't a bounce back spot for the Kings. And the fact that this isn't -5 right now makes me very nervous. Take it away, Derl. Raptors Kings.
Okay. This is a game to where it surprised me when I looked at the numbers, right? But Sacramento is 3rd in the league in first half points, sitting 3rd behind Golden State and Brooklyn. First half points. Right now, their first half, they're averaging about 6-2 in their last 3, or 62 points in their last 3. Now, Toronto, this is a crazy number, has also averaged more points in their last 3, more first half points, right? But what I saw is that Sacramento only allows 45 points, and they've allowed that in their last 3. So the momentum is picking up. And once again, we're talking about a tale of 2 halves, to where Sacramento plays great in the first half, and then it just crumbles down in the second half. Toronto has only, Sacramento has only allowed an average of 45 points in the first half. This smells like a Sacramento first half, a play written all over it. I'm leaning there. I'll probably get there with the Sacramento first half. This is probably another play you should start looking at. Tristan sounded off, and I don't know if that was to kind of build the team's momentum or just kind of break that locker room apart, right? I don't know what he was thinking when he said that. It's almost like he's trying to get Luke fired. But if you look at the comments in whole, he wasn't really shading the team. He was really talking about himself and saying that, hey, I don't need anyone to give me a little bit of a motivation. If you can't go out there and motivate yourself, then you got a problem. You don't even need to be playing in this league. He's probably still thinking he's in Cleveland, but this is a game that I believe that the points that Toronto is scoring in the first half and the points that Sacramento is scoring in the first half and the points that Sacramento is allowing to be scored in the first half has a Sacramento first half play written all over it here. So if you're afraid to get to that full game because Sacramento can just dumb themselves down in the second half, look at Sacramento first half. I do believe that is the play. It's an average of, or it's a difference of almost 10 points. It seems like Sacramento should be the first, or the first half Sacramento play should be the play.
Well, last Friday, when you were on the show, I was on the Kings first quarter and first half, and they smashed OKC.
They did.
And then OKC came back to win the game, and it was a perfect spot. And then going back to the Raptors, they had this 104-88 loss at Boston on the first night of a back-to-back, and then came back the next night and beat the Sixers in Philly 115-109 and surprised us when all the money was on the Sixers. So I'm a little nervous about these market moves.
Sacramento allows 45, Toronto allows 62, and that was in the first half. So just the opponent's points scoring, Sacramento's going to lock you down in the first half. not so much Toronto. Now, where Toronto will come back is their second half, and after they've made their adjustments and whatever game plan they have going into the second half, it works. They're still losing games, but the adjustments work. So you should look at it, and this is the reason why I say that also. This is a high total. 220 is pretty high for these teams. So that's going to work into Sacramento's favor. If you're scoring or averaging about 62 and 63, Toronto is allowing 62, 63 points, then this is going to work in Sacramento's favor. So I do believe the lean would be Sacramento first half. I'll probably get there. Just waiting to see what this line does.
There you have it. 9 games broken down by our guy. It's Derl. At this point, he's on 2 spots. He's on the Pacers first half money line at plus 105 and the Clippers minus 3.5 at minus 105. There may be additions. I will keep my ear to the streets when Derl says he's on something.
I took Golden State at plus 9.5.
Oh, yeah, minus 9.5. Sorry, I forgot from last night.
I'm sorry.
Excuse me. Yeah, my fault. I didn't have that written down here on the under the game, so I'll add that right now. Okay, and then for me, the only thing I've got at this point is that Sacramento look, but I have interest in the total on the Thunder, Milwaukee Bucks first quarter over, first half over, or focusing solely on the Bucks first quarter team total over 29.5. That's going to take some more looks for me. I'm very curious about some of these market moves that are going to happen when we have players announced. I would like, and I don't want my fandom to get into this, but I would like to have something on this Celtics-Lakers game. And I'm just saying that out loud so that I can be consciously aware of it and not force anything. Yeah. But there you have it. There is our NBA card. So, Darryl, if you move on any action, please tag me in your tweet, and I will retweet it. Follow our guy on Twitter at ITSDERL. In the house, joining us every Friday from Los Angeles, California. We love you, man. Thank you so much for joining us. Any last words for these great cappers supporting the show before we get into NCAA basketball?
Love y'all, and have a good damn night.
There he is. It's Derl in the house. We go from Derl to NCAA basketball and the CupCake King Maxwell Smart in the house. Maxie, my man, how are you on this Friday morning?
Jim, I'll be brutally honest. You know, I can understand that you are flying fucking high as fuck coming off your 3-0 sweep, but I was under a bridge near Dundas West Station last night, taking my pitiful $200 and trying to get sex workers to frequent one of my residences. So it was not pleasurable. I'm glad that I'm back here. It's a new day. We got lots of games today. Afternoon basketball all the way till 10 p.m. on the West Coast. So don't worry about if you miss a couple. There are a couple more.
Yeah, and I really, I have the honor of having worked with you now for years. So, and it's often about capping the capper and then taking a look at the games and does it correlate with the way you see the game going? And you have to answer those key questions. And when you do, when it does correlate, the winners come. The winners come. And I needed that 3-game 3-0 day. It saved me yesterday, and I thank you very much. And of the 6 games that Max gave out, I was only on the winners of them. It was St. Bonnie minus 3.5, minus 108. St. Bonnie and Boise State under 132.5. Again, with the breakdown of St. Bonnie, I went against some people believe you don't want to tail somebody who's a fan of that team. But I thought the capping made absolute sense. So I trusted your capping there and let go of the fact that you're a Bonnie's fan. And it worked very well for me. And that under was pretty nice to hit because if you watched it live, it was sitting around 136.5 or 137.5 all game long. Oklahoma, East Carolina under 138.5 was a loss. That NIU, Mizzou under cashed by 50 points, 60 points. I mean, it was just so easy. And it's because NIU was absolutely terrible offensively. And I loved your breakdown of that game. Rutgers and the Rutgers DePaul under did not cash for you. But with that being said, 22 and 20, 52.4% plus 0.26 units, ROI plus 0.62%, average line minus 105. And it's helped a lot of us immensely just hearing your breakdowns, let alone from the wins and losses. All right, let's move on to the first game on your card. We also have and there's Kev Riley in the house, fresh off of taking $55.55 out of my pocket, which I haven't sent them yet. Please send me your PayPal link. Richly deserved. Great job. Way to stand strong. And congratulations, Kev. Great work. Okay, let's get back to work here. And Puzzler says that is his area. Yes, Puzzler's lives right there at the Dundas West Station, and he says no hookers under that bridge, just homeless men now and then. So I don't know. I think maybe Puzzler and Max visited at different times. Okay.
I definitely think that we visited different times. I'm not into those types of hand jobs.
No, God no. God no. Okay, we have the Taint play today in. That comes in off our second game. The first game on Max's card will excite you all to know that it is in 32 minutes. Who's looking for afternoon college basketball action? We have it here right now for you. 1 p.m. Eastern, the Paradise Jam. Bradley Braves 1-2 at Colorado State Rams 3-0. We head to St. Thomas of the Virgin Islands for this spot. Let me move over to NCAA basketball. And also let's see if we have enough bets on this game where we can talk about the market analysis. We will see there shortly. All right, let's go. Bradley, Colorado State. Colorado State opening up as 11.5-point favorites, now 13-point favorites, 13.5 at some books. This total is sitting right now opened at 143.5 and is dropping 141.5 or 142, depending on where you shop. After opening the season with losses to South Dakota State and Howard, Bradley had to play Missouri Science and Technology to get their first win on Tuesday night. Colorado State opened the year 3-0, 29-point win over Oral Roberts, 20-point win over Arkansas Pine Bluff, before a 26-point win on Sunday over the mighty Peru State College Bobcats. This is the type of situation where Max destroys. Take it away, Max. Bradley Braves, Colorado State Rams popping off in 31 minutes.
Yeah, Jim, this is a spot where I have to look at Colorado State as a side because they are getting their best on-ball defender in Kendall Moore back into the line to go along with their very stable quartet of different scores, whether it be Adam Thistlewood, Isaiah Stevens, or David Roddy. I think with Colorado State, they do have some red flags defensively, especially in the pick and roll, but I'm not sure that Bradley's going to be able to handle the ball pressure that Colorado State's going to throw at them. And when you watch the game against Howard, which they lost as a big favorite, you know, it left you leaving a lot to freaking wonder, how are they going to do in a step-up competition against a really quality possible March Madness tournament team. So it's going to be about what Coach Wardle wants to do. He's not going to run a lot of pick and roll. He's going to move his forwards like Canadian Jashawn Henry all over the court, and he's going to be getting guys to cut. So if they're able to get buckets close to the rim like that, because let's be brutally honest, I don't have a lot of confidence in making shots from the outside. I do think that Colorado State is probably going to have a seamless, hopefully wire-to-wire, non-ass clenching way to the next round in the Paradise Jam first round.
And do you want to make it official here?
Yeah, I think that I'm going to have to ask you for a first half number on it. And I think we're going to have to double up on it.
Double up here. Let me grab this for you. And what numbers were you seeing before, now that we're 29 minutes to liftoff?
Yeah, I got 6.5 on the first half. That's my bet on it. But if we're going to get that Colorado State signature freaking performance against a team that doesn't have outside shooting, is reliant on something that can be easily defended, I have to look at the big favorite. It may be square, but that's where I'm going with.
I'm going to see if I can beat it at FanDuel, but right now it's just 7.5 right across the board. 7.5 right across the board. Let's see if we've got some be able to look at this market. No, that's not going to help us. So yeah, 7.5 right across the board.
I'll take it, Jim.
All right, let's see if I can get you less juice. So minus 7.5. It's minus 110 everywhere. A couple of the dice books have moved it to 8. And let me see if I can beat this at FanDuel quickly. Here we go. It's going to take me a second to get this going. Okay. All right, so -7.5 and -110 for Colorado State. Max is on the board. This game pops off in 28 minutes. 28 minutes. I'm over here. Sorry about this. -7.5. Okay, I'm gonna pop this in here, Max. -7.5, -110. Okay, we move on and we get to the taint play of the day. We are talking this game popping off in 2 hours. Now we're in 58 minutes. The Shriners Children Charleston Classic. Number 22 ranked St. Bonaventure Bonnies 3-0 at Clemson Tigers. We're at TD Arena in Charleston, South Carolina. Bonnies, of course, coming off that big 67-61 win over Boise State here yesterday, while Clemson destroyed Temple 75-48. And that's the first half. Sorry, let me move into the full game. So here we go. We have the Bonnies coming in as 2.5-point favorites. They're now 3.5-point favorites. Taint play today is Clemson plus 3.5. Says love the line movement and love Clemson money line. Now I will vouch for a 5-unit play on Clemson plus 3.5. Can't wait to hear what Max has to say about that. But first, Max, take it away. Your Bonnies, market moving towards them. 3.5-point favorites now versus Clemson Tigers.
Yeah, Jim. Usually I have nothing but nice things to say to and about Matt Randall. But on this Friday afternoon, Matt Randall, fuck you. God damn it. You fucking take Clemson? I'm a Bonnies fan. I'm an Alabama football fan. What are you doing? You're trying to break my heart? Take minutes off my life? God damn it. So obviously I respect Matt Randall's opinion and college basketball capping so much that now I'm a little afraid to give out the 3.5 on St. Bonaventure. But from a stylistic perspective and just from a personnel perspective, is PJ Hall going to be able to pull out Oshuni out from anchoring the middle and make him defend on the perimeter if he's making shots? I know that St. Bonaventure is one of the least consistent scoring teams in the Northeast basketball scene, but they play incredible defense. They guard as hard as I've seen a team aside from Houston guard. And I just think that in this situation, they're going up against a group that has been hot 3-point shooting, looked really good against a really bad Temple team, and I'm just not going to grant them that rite of passage to beat my Bonnies after that performance. I think that when you beat Bryant and you beat Temple, your numbers are going to look good on paper, but you're going up against a top 25 defense in this nation. And I just think that when you look at an opportunity for the Bonnies to have a game that challenges them and forces them to go deep in and get it all, you know what? They did it yesterday. They're going to do it again today. So instead of taking the Bonnies -3, Jim, on the full game or -3.5, I do have a parlay at +206. The Bonnies on the money line, and then the Florida Atlantic UT Martin first half under 69.5. So it's going to be +206 on that parlay. That's what I bet. And that's what I'm going to give out for the show on this game, because I just think that Clemson's going to have to knock down shots. And if they don't knock down shots, they're not going to win this game. And with the total the way it is at 123 or 122.5, that's crazy. One significant run in 2 minutes is going to push that game over. So if you were wanting one of my leans, I'd be like, yeah, I'm going to have to take an over full game with this matchup. But I'm not going to go away from my Bonnies. I think that they scheduled like this for a reason, to test this group. And this is the next test, and they're going to pass with flying colors, CupCake style.
Ooh-wee. Okay, so it's St. Bonaventure, Florida Atlantic, moneyline parlay?
No, Jim. It's St. Bonaventure money line plus Florida Atlantic and UT Martin first half under 69.5.
Oh, shit. Sorry. Florida Atlantic, UT Martin first half under. Can you give me that number? 64.5 or 69.5?
69.5.
69.5. And that together comes out to what?
Plus 206.
Plus 206. So that's a completely valid addition to your record. St. Bonaventure moneyline, Florida Atlantic, UT Martin, first half under 69.5 at plus 206 for Max. There you go. We move on to 3 p.m. Eastern. The Paradise Classic. Troy Trojans 2-1 versus North Dakota Fighting Hawks 1-1. We're at FAU Arena in Boca Raton, Florida. Let's see what we are dealing with here. We have Troy opening up as 5.5-point favorites. They are now 4-point favorites. There are 4.5s out there. This total opened up at 138.5. It has dropped to 135.5 or 135. After losing 70-59 at Butler, Troy needed triple overtime to get past Jacksonville State. 69-65 as 4-point dogs on Tuesday. For North Dakota, after losing to Milwaukee 75-60, they bounced back in a 79-77 win at home versus Montana on Monday. And Sopel DS Striker, or Sopel D. Oh, fuck, man. Striker, let's just call him Striker. It says that's a 214 parlay at FanDuel right now. 206 is what Max gave out. But Max is going to get hurt by far in the long run with having to give out market prices. So anytime we can give him a little bit of a better one, we should jump at that. So thank you very much, Striker. So 214 is Max's spot there. Back to Troy Trojans, North Dakota Fighting Hawks. Max, take it away.
Yeah, listen, I think that with Troy, they were able to capitalize on home court. They were able to capitalize on some really good rebounding and poor shooting performance from Jacksonville State. I think in this game, they're going up against a North Dakota team that can do exactly that, and they can grind just as hard. I was dying to come on the show. I had summoned my inner Noli nose. I had found the under of the day, under 138.5 in this game, but the line moved 3.5 points. So I had to reevaluate. And I think that when you look at this North Dakota team, while they're not going to really impress you, they're not going to really wow you on the score sheet, I definitely think that they do have the stability, at least this year, against this Troy team. I don't think that Desmond Williams is going to go 0-4 from the field again, but I don't think that this Troy team has the consistency to score 60 points. So I'm going to have to look at the dog in the first half in this spot. I'm going to fade Troy off that triple overtime game. I'm saying, listen, you got lucky. You fucked my under. You fucked my spread. You fucked my money line, and now I'm coming back for some revenge. So a little bit of emotion in this pick. Maybe Dan Kelly would suggest that you don't tail it, but I think that North Dakota first half money line at a plus price with two teams that are really more evenly matched than the odds makers give them credit for is a value play, in my opinion.
All right, let's line shop for Max. Very exciting look here. This game pops off at 3 p.m. Eastern. The first half money line opened up at plus 143, and it's dropping, but it's not been dropping very quickly at Bodog. We can get you plus 135 at Bodog in comparison to the plus 124 at Pinnacle. How does that sound? Plus 135 first half money line?
That sounds good enough to me, Jim.
All right, let's lock that in. This is the 3 p.m. start here. The Paradise Classic in Boca Raton, Florida. We have Nikolai Jubinski saying Boca represent. We got to hang out with Nikolai in Miami when we were down there as well. What up, Nikolai? Thank you for joining us, my man. All right, so first, North Dakota. So let's go ND. First half plus 135 for Maxwell Smart. We have Kev Riley, who's coming off an 8-0 day, by the way, not including the winner he had against me. But I guess he is including because he also bet it. But giving out best bets, keep an eye out for that. All right, first half plus 135 for Max. Now we go on to the final spot on Max's card. Again, you can catch Max Monday through Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern alongside Connor Mack. Cal Poly Mustangs 1-2, first road game of the year at Santa Clara. Broncos 3-0 home. God, they look good at the Levi Center in Santa Clara, California. Cal Poly's coming in off back-to-back home losses, 60-57 to North Dakota State and 58-57 to Sacramento. Two very tight home losses. Santa Clara's look so good. They come in off winning their third straight game, 96-74 at home versus Nevada. Let's see what we are getting. Oh, sorry, I'm on money line still. Let's move over to this market for spreads and totals. While I'm bringing this up, it's taking a second to load. Max, why don't you start hammering away here? Your thoughts of this spot, Cal Poly Santa Clara.
Yeah, Jim, instantly you watch a little Cal Poly this year, and then people are starting to give them a little more credit, a little more respect than I think that they deserve. I think that when you look at Ali Karoma and you look at Jacob Davison, these are two really nice pieces at different levels that you can run out and you can use to exploit an opponent's defense. But I am just really impressed with what I'm seeing from this Santa Clara team. Not only are they well coached, they seem to have a whole bunch of more depth and usable depth than they did last year. And when you have a bunch of Canadians like Jaden Bediako and Joseph Vrancic, I pay attention. I like that basketball. It's a game that I want to watch. And when I watch Santa Clara in this early part of the season, the most important piece of this roster and of this starting lineup that I've been impressed with is 6'10" Parker Braun. I think that this is a kid that's going to give you double digits consistent throughout the season. He's going to give you a couple games where he goes off and leads the team in scoring and is your game MVP. And when we look at these numbers, they're getting off to a very, I would say, potent offensive start, but they are going buck wild in the second half. So it's a team that definitely does scream to me, I can score 90 points. Let me try. But with this game, the thing that I want to attack is something that I'm just going to attack all the time until I'm proven otherwise. Cal Poly is still a fade team. They are still a team that struggles to score. Now they're going up on the road versus a potent Santa Clara offense that shoots a high percentage from the three-point line, a more than respectable average from inside the arc. I think that it's going to come down to defense from Santa Clara. If Santa Clara can guard without fouling, if Santa Clara can continue to close out on three-point shooters and eliminate that area of scoring, I think it's enough that they cover first half, they cover full game, and this game stays under in a rout. So I want a Peter Loshak triple up spot.
Whoa, a Loshak triple up spot. So that includes what, first half, full game, and what, team total?
We'll go with team total just because this is an opportunity for Santa Clara. Flex a little muscle. Cal Poly, this is a little time for them to slurp a little cock soup.
Oh, a little cock soup on the menu.
A little cock soup.
All right, let's lock this in for Max. So full game, we can get you -15 and -110. First half, I'm going to shop for first half, and then we need to find a full game team total.
Yeah, 75.5 is what I bet.
All right. And is it still there? Because I'll have to look up a few different books here.
I'm not sure right now, but I bet 75.5 at -114.
75.5 at -114. If anybody can see what we can get, Max, right now, help me out. I'll look at a couple of books as well. But for a team total over on Santa Clara, first half we can get you -9 at -105. Pinnacle has moved it to -9.5, and it did open at 8.5. First half -9, -105, and a full game team total over. Let's just take a quick look and see what we can get here, and see if anybody's popping in the chat as well too.
And just to let you know, Jim, I am sweating a whole bunch of first half unders in this Utah State, New Mexico State game, and I definitely just cashed 2 Boise State first half plays and the first half over. So I am definitely fucking with my eyes open early today.
I love that. Because
I was losing money live betting yesterday. I had a very roller coaster of a day, so it's normal for me.
All right, they're coming in right now. Bovada has Santa Clara at 76.5. Simon Says Bet has Heritage 75.5 at -110. So let's use that right there. Let's use that right there. There's Jacqueline Martin joining us as well. Okay, so and Piker says that Loshak's capping in the men's room at the Subway, dressed like a Lieutenant Dan. Minor disturbance. Okay, and Dan just got on the 75.5 at -110. So let's get you that right now. full game team total over 75 at -110. That 75.5. Sorry, 75.5 at -110. There you have it from Maxwell Smart. We did have questions come in, Max. First question from John Garcia says, "Is honey butter dipping sauce approved for your for chicken?" Stretch?
Yes, it would be.
It
Just got to stay away from anything that involves mustard and honey. That is definitely sacrilegious and dangerous for your health.
Okay, that's important to know. Let's review Max's action here in NCAA basketball. In 13 short minutes, he's on the Colorado State Rams -7.5. Let's move over here. Was that Colorado State Rams -7.5 at -110. That's popping off here again in 12 minutes over the Bradley Braves. Then he's going straight up against Taint. Taint versus CupCake head-to-head. Taint is on Clemson +3.5. Now, Max has switched his bet up a little bit. He's on the St. Bonaventure money line. He's parlaying that with Florida Atlantic, UT Martin, first half under 69.5. That comes out to a +214. +214 casher. Then he is on North Dakota Fighting Hawks first half money line at +135. North Dakota first half money line at +135. Then triple up. Cock soup is on the menu today in Santa Clara, California for the Cal Poly Mustangs, whom I've heard just drink that shit up by the pint glass. First half -9 for Santa Clara at -105. Full game -15 at -110. And the full game team total over at 75.5 at -110. Maxwell Smart, my man. Thank you for rolling with us. Congratulations on your cashers on Boise State. Keep cashing. And thank you for your guidance and insights, my friend. Any last words for these great cappers supporting the show?
Jim, I really like your hats today. I like the background also. And I also like the fact that your daughter came on camera. So bring her on more often and teach her how to cap some college basketball.
Oh, she'll be gambling heavy. You don't need to worry about that. You don't need to worry about that. She's
and also let her know. Also let her know there's possibly a Christmas present coming from me and my family to her and yours.
Oh, that's very sweet. She still loves the gifts that you gave already. She has the doll in her bedroom. So it's very kind of you, Max, my man. You're a great friend and a great capper. Thank you for rolling with us here. Catch Max today with Connor Mack at 5 p.m. Eastern on NCAA Net Profits. There he is. And follow him on Twitter. CBMS420. All right, let's move into college football. We have 5 games and real good-looking card. I think there's money to be made, and I've not bet on any of them. So let's get the chat up here, and let's get to work. Christopher Comatini saying net profit is the show. And Kev Riley's best bets, Wichita State +9, Ohio +12. +9 and +12. Piker says Max is sending CC's pizza vouchers. How do you know about CC's? Piker. How do you know about Sweet Parkdale? Okay. Let's get to work right now. We start at 8 p.m. Eastern. Southern Miss Golden Eagles 1-9, 0-6 in the Conference USA at Louisiana Tech Bulldogs 3-7, 2-4 in Conference USA. We're in Ruston, Louisiana, where it's chilly tonight. No wind, but chilly. 44 Fahrenheit clear. 1 mile per hour is the wind. Louisiana Tech opening up at 16.5-point favorites. Now 15.5. This total opened up at 51. It is now at 48.5. Move this over. That's going to take a second to load. I don't know why that is. And Jaylen Brown is out. Thank you, Matty Ice. Out. Dan Kelly says it perfectly. There, Jose's already got it lit up. That's beautiful. Oh, and Piker's in CC's bathroom. He's got to get out. Look, I guess we speak. All right. Okay. All right. Let's get to let's see if this is up now here, and it is. Okay, let's see what we are dealing with. We have what the hell is going on with this thing? Okay, there we go. We have 3,101 tickets in. 61% of the tickets are on La Tech and 76% of the cash. That makes doesn't make a ton of sense because we've seen them move a point towards Southern Miss. Then we have 43% of tickets on the under and 64% of cash on the under. That makes perfect sense as it's moved from 51 to 48.5. I'd be curious to see when this moved. The last move was at 10:30, going from 49 to 48.5. And it's just been dropping. That's too bad. I probably should have got on it earlier. Steve says 2 bad teams over spot here. Southern Miss comes in off their 8th straight loss, 27-17 at UTSA is 32.5 point dogs. And I guess Jose doesn't want to bet against his team, but he said that was a spot where UTSA was, going to look past Southern Miss. And that's exactly what happened. It was a wild game. Southern Miss had 189 yards of offense, just 189 yards of offense, but held the ball for 37 minutes and 14 seconds. This team is yet to win a game against an FBS opponent. They shut out FCS Grambling 37-0 in their home opener in week 2, and then have lost all 9 other games by an average of nearly 22 points per game. So they're down to their 3rd quarterback, or quarterbacks as they used to. So they lose Trey Lowe III and Ty Keys. And now they go with Frank Gore Jr. and Antavius Willis. And they don't throw the ball at all. So against UTSA, to give you an idea of how they put up 189 yards in only 37 minutes of ball control, Frank Gore was just 2 of 3 for 33 yards. But he ran 20 times for 123 yards. And then Tavius Willis was 2 for 4 for 19 yards in a pick, but he ran the ball 19 times for 46 yards. Billy Friedrich says, yes, Jose.
Just to add on with your Southern Miss, since I saw them in person last time, if Frank Gore stayed in the game the whole time, they probably would have beaten UTSA. He was incredible, but obviously they're down. Like they've apparently used like 8 quarterbacks this whole year, Jim, and they don't. And like you said, these guys aren't quarterbacks; they're literally running backs running a wildcat offense the whole time. And once it gets to that nitty gritty where you have to throw, Jim, it becomes a bad time for them.
So wait, Jose, jump back on here for a second. Then, do you think that after Frank Gore runs 20 times for 123 yards, that maybe they just stick with him here, or is it the bruising that he takes in the Wildcat and the exhaustion that comes in, and that's why Davies Willis has to come in?
Exactly. Yeah, he just keeps getting hit, and he like last week he rolled his ankle. There was a wrist injury. Like it's just the repeated, just keep going after it again and again and again. So it's not that he's bad; he's actually good, and he has one pass in his arsenal. Really, it's just a deep ball. And he throws it nicely once a game. So he's got that in the tank, but it is literally just a running back there. And they're just trying to smash the whole time.
Great. I love that insight. Thank you.
And by the way, I don't know if we think we went over this earlier in the week, but I just go over it again, say, hey, play in college football at the end of this.
Okay. Yeah. I do have one say, hey, play for college football. Are you adding to it, or is it the same one?
No, same one, but I would love to hear your tickets and stuff. But we'll get to it at the end of this breakdown, or in this college football.
Sounds good. Let's do that. Christopher Comtini says cheerleaders nexy. I thought he was saying sexy, but he was saying next. Matty I says Southern Miss has used 10 quarterbacks, 5 actual quarterbacks, 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, and 1 coach. Not even joking. So Southern Miss is bad offensively. I guess if you want to see what's happening with Southern Miss's offense, you just go to the Last Chance U series and the Oakland Div 2 team who went through the same situation here. But Southern Miss has a good defense. So opponents are only covering 39% on third down, and they're good. Their defense is strong. The Bulldogs finally ended that 5-game losing streak with last week's 42-32 win over Charlotte. So Austin Kendall hurt his back in the loss at Old Dominion, and J.D. Head and Aaron Allen have started each of the last 2 games. And Aaron Allen looked good last week. So Aaron Allen went 21-27 for 327 yards and touchdowns, 2 touchdowns. And the highest scoring outputs from this team is the last 2 weeks. 38 points against UAB, and 42 versus Charlotte. So with that, all that being said, sure, at 51, probably should have moved. You know, when we're capping all these sports, and it's a lot of work, and some spots move past us. And sure, maybe the under was the spot, but I wonder if backing La Tech here, 33.5 is a. So, what do we know about Southern Miss? Is they're going to want to keep the ball for as long as possible, and I wonder if Doyle saying La Tech and the over. I guess this game is a little confusing. I would have liked to have been on the under 51, but Southern Miss is going to try to hold the ball for 40 minutes here and keep Louisiana Tech's offense off the field. And if Southern Miss can't score at all, Louisiana Tech should comfortably cover the first half and not get over their team total at 33.5. I mean, I know that UAB's defense is good. Charlotte's defense is trash. And now you're going to play against a good defense who's going to want to keep the ball all game long with the clock ticking. So with that being said, wouldn't Louisiana Tech first half -9 and then full game team total under, which doesn't correlate. So maybe that doesn't make sense. So I don't want to sit here and hum and haw, but I'm going to write down both of those spots here. Would be La Tech first half and then their team total under. So, I mean, Southern Miss can defend the pass as well. And they're going to want to have the ball for 39 minutes. So, maybe Southern Miss doesn't put up points. Okay, I'm going to have to think about this longer. And I apologize that, I do so much of the capping with you guys here on camera and don't come in with a set angle in college football right now. By the way, college football record, we went 27-9 against the spread last year in bowl season, and I truly hope that we can recreate that if I host bowl shows. I don't even know if I will be hosting any bowl shows, but right now we're 48-46, down 3.1 units on the year, average line -111. We're right in line to get this season in the black, and I want to have action today. So we're going to move on here. That's the first game on the card. And a real fascinating cap, but we move on. Okay, let's move on to the next. And John Garcia says, "Did you see Gore throwing dimes?" All right, I'm gonna need more time. Okay, we move on to the next spot on the card, and it is a beauty. 9 p.m. Eastern. Memphis Tigers 5-5, 2-4 in the American. At number 24 ranked Houston Cougars 9-1, 7-0 in the American. When Houston, Texas 61 Fahrenheit, clear 7 miles per hour. Cab says I'm on Houston first half in this one. So it's beautiful weather. Let's see what we are dealing with from a market perspective. Let's move over here. Sorry about this. We have Houston opening up as 9.5-point favorites. It's moved 5 cents towards Memphis. So it's still 9.5 at Pinnacle. The other books, half the other books have moved it to 9. This total opened up at 60.5 and is now at 59.5. Let's take a look at the cash flow in this spot. 5,850 tickets in. 31% of the tickets on Memphis and 70% of the cash. Big bets coming in on Memphis, who need to win this game badly to get a bowl. 71% of the tickets are on the over and just 41% of the cash. So it looks like sharp money coming in on the under. Dan Kelly, yes, he's on Golden State Warriors first quarter -2. I would like to move on that game as well, Dan, but I want to know who's in the lineup just in case I can get a better number. And Durant is ruled out tonight, says Mike M. Wow, too late. Wish I could have been on Orlando hearing that information. Wonder what the line's going to be then. Okay, so let's go back to this spot here. Memphis comes in off a 30-29 overtime loss versus East Carolina. I really think Memphis is a tricky team to have faith in a situation here. They're trying to get to be bowl eligible for the 8th straight year. They're coming off that overtime loss. So 2 weeks ago, their defense shuts down SMU. Then last week, they allow 502 yards to East Carolina. Calvin Austin has been dealing with injuries. So, and he's had a monster year, but it's this Rutgers transfer, Eddie Lewis, who's been the main threat for this Memphis team. Over to Houston. After opening the season with that 38-21 loss at home versus Texas Tech, 9 straight wins. They just beat Temple 37-8 on Saturday as 25-point favorites. They held the ball for 39 minutes and 22 seconds. They held Temple to just 218 yards. And now they're on top of the AAC. Cincinnati obviously is right there breathing down their neck. And we expect to see them in the AAC championship game on December 4th. Clayton Tune is getting better as the season goes on. 21 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. He's much better than he was last year. And their rushing attack was a problem all year. But now they have back-to-back games with over 200 yards rushing against Florida and Temple. And they've become a very, very tough team to bet against. Striker liking Houston here. And Manny, I seen that Orlando first quarter look might still be the spot. Yeah, I'm going to have to study that now I don't want to just make a quick decision here with that knowledge. I need to sit with Durant being out for a little bit. Dennis Garcia says Memphis has been a luck box team all year. Terrible team. I really hope they go bowling. So I don't understand why the Sharps are on them. Fanatical Jim on a 6-point teaser with Houston in the over. I can't trust Memphis's defense. I don't know when they're going to step up and when they're going to fall apart. And Houston is rolling right now. This total has dropped a point or a half point. The public's on the over. The Sharps are on the under. I just don't understand how you could bet money trusting Memphis's defense. And clearly that's what people are doing. Joseph Gomez says FanDuel is locked in Nets game. Billy Friedrich says Houston by 10. And Dan Kelly says no Brown in the Celtics, still -2. Line makers hating on the Lakers. Matty I says over is the only play possible. Trusty says, can you see Memphis getting stomped out? But in the same breath, you could see them winning this game. Brutal spot, hard to trust either team. Yeah. All Houston has to do is win this game. Look, I wasn't sure if capping this game with you guys was going to open up a situation that I wanted to bet. It hasn't. So let's not just sit here and hum and haw. And R says way over. Houston will score 40 plus. How did Memphis shut down SMU? Let's move on and see if there's better spots on the board. We get to 9 p.m. Eastern. Arizona Wildcats 1-9, 1-6 in the Pac-12. At Washington State Cougars 5-5, 4-3 in the Pac-12. We're at Martin Stadium in Pullman, Washington. 34 Fahrenheit. Chance of snow. 11 miles per hour. There's T-Mac in the house. And Cab saying Memphis being bad all year. Do you really want to go up against all this sharp action on Memphis here? Or do you want to just on a hope and a prayer back Memphis because the Sharps are on it? Let's just move past it. Washington State opening up as 15-point favorites. A few books have moved it to 14.5. There's been a 4-cent move at Pinnacle over to Arizona. This total opened up at 52.5, and I thought I saw movement on it. Let me just double check because they're saying there's no movement, and there hasn't been no movement all week. Wow. You don't see that very often. I guess line's just getting sharper here near the end of the year. Steve M says Memphis 0-4 against the spread on the road this season, but they're 8-0-1 against the spread in their last 9 games on turf. And Mike M is on Memphis and Washington State and under 52.5, 3 college football spots. All right. Thank you for adding that in, Steve. Okay, let's go back to this spot here and see what we are dealing with. So we have snow and cold, and this total still sitting at 52. Let's see where the cash lies in this spot. 3,782 tickets in. This Friday night, right around this time here, around 9, 10 o'clock is when the action is going to heat up for us. It's going to be a really fun night. 3,782 tickets in. 42% of the tickets on Arizona, 55% of the cash. Interesting. That's on the spread, of course. And then 58% tickets on the over, 57% cash on the over. Arizona followed their only win this season with a 38-29 loss at home versus Utah's 24-point dogs. This offense under Jeff Fish has been so bad all year, but over the last 3 games, they put up 73 points. They're looking better. Will Plummer has 7 interceptions and 3 touchdowns this year. He's averaging 5.6 yards per attempt. He has led the team in rushing each of the past 2 games, 118 yards and a touchdown over that span. That's a problem. If you can't get a ground attack going. It's funny. I understand that Arizona's offense has been better. And, Washington's been looking good. But I don't see why the under wouldn't be the look in this game. And R says Magic Moneyline, hammer it. Ashram Mendez talking about the Curry being out. We don't know if he's out officially yet, though, Ashram. But yeah, right. We don't have that information yet. So Mike M on the under 52.5 for Washington State. Their ground game with Borgie and McIntosh. I mean, they're just lighting everything up on the ground. Which makes me want to move on the under. It's going to be snowy. It's going to be, there's a chance of snow. It's going to be cold. It's going to be windy. And even though Arizona's offense has improved of late, they're not going to beat you with big plays. They're only going to beat you with consistency. I don't even know how they're going to beat you. I don't trust them on the road. I think that this has to be an under spot right here. I agree. Yeah, Mike M. It's going to be a lot of fun. Smarty Z liking the Raptors money line. Now, yeah, I'm nervous about my spot. Jeff Grove says Memphis is playing for a bowl berth. Houston isn't playing for anything. And historically, it's been a 50-50. That's well put. That has to be – Jeff Groves has to have nailed it right there. That has to be the only reason why there's money coming in on Memphis, why the Sharps are on Memphis, because this game means everything to Memphis, and it means very little to Houston. That has to be it. That just simply has to be it. And if Houston wins by 7, everything's great. And Memphis has to put out everything to get paid into a bowl, get the cash for the school. Okay, I'm moving on the under 52.5 in this spot. Arizona, Washington State. Under 52.5. And there's been no movement. I'm moving on it. All right. Okay, let's keep rolling here. And the question is, do you want, and Billy Pilgrim says Memphis qualifies for a bowl with win over Tulane. So, all right. You know what? The game is, I find Memphis just very tricky to figure out. So I'm going to keep moving. We got lots of spots on the board. The under 52.5 in Arizona Wildcats, Washington State is on my card. We are going to move on to Air Force Nevada, and this one's going to be an absolute beauty. 9 p.m. Eastern. Air Force Falcons 7-3, 4-2 at Mountain West. Nevada Wolfpack 7-3, 4-2 at Mountain West. A lot on the line here. Mackay Stadium in Reno. 49 Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy, 7 miles per hour. Nevada opening up as 1.5-point favorites. This is flipped. We now have Air Force as 1-point favorites. This total's gone from 52.5 up to 53.5 at Pinnacle. Wow. And 55% of tickets, 62% of cash is on the under. 53% of tickets, 66% of cash is on Nevada, and we've seen it flip. We've seen a full flip. There's for show cash in the house. Says, I do not think LeBron is playing. Wow. Okay. Yeah, because Jaylen Brown's already been announced out. Let's move forward. Air Force snapped their 2-game losing streak with a 35-21 win at Colorado State as 3.5-point favorites. They outgained Colorado State by 201 yards, held on to the ball for 38 minutes and 36 seconds. And Zeke Daniels threw for 2 touchdowns, which is crazy. A 92-yarder, longest pass in school history, 4 of 11 for 121 yards. You take that one pass away, and there is another 29 yards of passing offense. It was the first time that he had 2 TD passes in the same game. He only had 3 touchdown passes in the year coming into this. They are a game behind Utah State for first place in the Mountain Division. Air Force. So we have Air Force holding the ball for 38 minutes, 36 seconds against Colorado State. They average holding the ball for 36 minutes each game. They run the ball 63 times a game, and they get 5 yards per carry. And they're doing this behind an offensive line that everyone thought was going to be a huge weakness for them, as they had to replace all 5 starters, and they've been pretty good. Their defense giving up 287 yards per game, 17.6 points per game, and they can shut down passing attacks, holding teams to 178 yards per game. That's 7th in the league. Nevada had their 2-game winning streak snapped in a 23-21 loss to San Diego State as 2.5-point dogs. Carson Strong, whom everybody expects will be in the NFL next season, and he is going up against an Air Force defense that can defend the pass. So that has to be why the move has gone from Nevada to Air Force, because this is styles make fights. This is the perfect spot for Air Force. Michael Ivalina says, love the over. Nevada coach keeps trying to score nonstop. Their coach doesn't let them up. But are they going to be able to pass against the 7th overall passing defense? Is Air Force just straight up I don't know. Is Air Force a better football team than San Diego State? And if that's the case, that Nevada's going to have a difficult time moving the ball through the air, or a more difficult time for Carson. Or is Carson Strong that good? That's possible. Maybe you're sitting there going, this is an NFL quarterback, and he's going to be able to throw against this Falcon secondary. Fanatical Jim says, Nevada's always great at home. Movement has me nervous. Dennis Garcia says, Cam Newton named starter Sunday. Steve M says, Air Force tends to play the under on the road versus winning teams. How high could this total go up? Because it doesn't make sense to me. I mean, it just, you have to keep Carson Strong off the field. There's Brant Hunt. Brant Hunt, that was a spectacular call in the Charlotte Washington game. We talked about you. Off the top of that show. Washington first quarter, first half, Charlotte full game, thing of beauty. Doyle says Nevada is the better game. And Matty I says it's Strong's last home game. Well, let's go back to the cash here. 53% of the tickets, 66% of the cash on Nevada, and the market is flipped towards Air Force. And Michael Irvelina took Nevada money line in the over. And Matty I says take Nevada money line. And JR says it's going to be way high scoring, like the Air Force versus Boise game. I only bet the pluses. Air Force has played only one good quarterback. Playing teams like Army makes their pass defense look better than it is. And Craig also likes Nevada. Wow. And Matty I says that's because they want you to bet Air Force. Wow. Well, shit, I'm going to have to sit and think and stare at this game for longer. Fascinating stuff. And Doyle says that's the book trying to fool Joe Public. Wow. So that's incredible stuff from you guys. I love this shit. And Matty Ice on Nevada. All right, let's move on to the final game on the NCAA football calendar tonight. And it also brings us to, and I think maybe some of you guys have noticed this, somebody's heating up. His name's Ron Crawford. Ron Crawford on San Diego State minus 10.5. This opened up at minus 12.5, and it's been dropping. So there are some 10.5s available. It's at 11 at most books right now. This total sitting at 41. Let's see what the cash has to say about this spot here. And I was on the other side of Ron Crawford's spreadsheet play, Florida in regulation, and he was right. All right, 4,816 tickets in, 31% of the tickets on UNLV and 47% of the cash on UNLV. 49% of the tickets on the under, 53% of cash on the under. Look, I do not want to go up against Ron Crawford. And I do not want to do that 2 days in a row, especially after losing yesterday. But I've started to really like this UNLV team. They're digging deep. We're in Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada. San Diego State followed up their lone loss of the season by defeating Hawaii 17-10, followed by last week's 23-21 victory over Nevada as 2.5-point favorites. Is this a possible letdown spot going up against UNLV when they have Nevada, Boise State on Friday, next Friday, a week away from San Diego State, Boise. So they get the win over Nevada. They play UNLV, and then they play Boise State. It just feels like, God, I wish Ron wasn't on San Diego State. So San Diego State is a half game up in the West. You got Greg Bell and Chance Bell, 1-2 running back punch, very, very strong. You have a game manager at quarterback and Lucas Johnson. He's not going to hurt you, but he's not going to turn the ball over. He went 21 of 34 for 176 yards and a touchdown in the win over Nevada. UNLV comes in off their second straight win, 27-13 at home versus Hawaii as 3.5-point dogs. They outgained Hawaii 465 to 240. They held them to just 10 first downs. They held onto the ball for 39 minutes and 38 seconds. Charles Williams ran for 266 rushing yards and carried the ball 38 times. He passed Icky. Icky had the record, 37 in 1987. They held Hawaii to 57 rushing yards on 28 carries. Christopher Comatini says San Diego's only a half game up. They have to win. And so you have Charles Williams going off last game, and then you play San Diego State. They're giving up 82.9 yards per game on the ground and 2.8 yards per carry. And then you have Friel, who can't be trusted for offense. I mean, doesn't this all just tell you that this game's going to go under? Sitting at 41 with no movement at all. Sitting at 41 with 48% of the tickets on the under, 53% of cash on the under. Dennis Garcia says San Diego State wins like 23-13. I think UNLV just gets there and the under hangs on. I agree. Michael Evelina says first half -6.5, full game -10.5, easy. The Jose Say Hey play of the day is coming right after this. Brant Hunt says, I like that too. San Diego State is a disciplined, well-coached team against UNLV is kind of the opposite. Don't overcomplicate things. Take the Aztecs. Well, I think the under is going to be in play. Steve M says San Diego State 6-1-1 to the under last 8 road games is his favorite. All right, I think we can get under 41. I mean, it's a low total, but I think we can get under it. So there's my second under on this card. Now I'm going to sit here with this college football card because they're really fascinating games. So I'm going to sit here this afternoon and see if I might have any additions. Let's bring in our man, Jose, star of the Say Hey play of the day, wants to go over the big college football Say Hey play of the day. Please welcome to the show, Jose Bouquet, ladies and gentlemen. Jose, how are you?
I'm a little nervous, Jim. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm a little nervous. I've told you earlier in the week that this is, in fact, the biggest game in UTSA program history yet again. Connor Mack has made fun of me because I like doing that. I like saying that, but it is true. And it seems like, Jim, I'd like to confirm with you, it seems like the sharps are on UAB.
Well, let's review that right now.
Because I'm a little nervous because I'm going to the game and I like to, like to have these insights, like to have that knowledge. If I need to get hurt, Jim, if I'm going in for a heart ripping, I want to be prepared at least. I'd like to know. that my heart's going to get ripped out of my chest from this game. So let's find out.
Will you be live at the game?
Yeah, I will be. I'll be at the game. Biggest game of program history, Jim. I can't miss. Can't miss.
Sorry, I got someone sneaking up here.
Ella, what's up? Ella, who's going to win this game? UTSA, UAB? Let me know, please.
She's not sure. She's
Okay,
going to
well,
study harder on it.
I'm not sure either. Thanks, Ella. No problem.
So UTSA opened as
They opened at 5.
favorites.
Yeah.
They're now sitting at 4.5-point favorites.
Concerning, which I mean, I thought it might go down lower, but it hasn't yet. So that's a good sign, but I'd like to know.
All right, it's just going to take a second. This thing's been I don't know what the hell's going on my computer, but it's going to take a second to bang out here. So break this game down a little bit for us. Is there any reason other than fandom that you're on backing?
Well, Jim, I'll tell you, there are certain college football atmospheres that really matter and that change stuff. And in Conference USA, that's the Alamo Dome. Now, I mean, we've actually started getting fans in the Alamo Dome. It's one of the hardest places to play. I've been pretty spot on with UTSA all year. I think they've not covered twice this entire year now. And it was those 2 non-competitive spreads with UNLV and Southern Miss, which I openly was like, I don't know if they're going to cover that. And they didn't. But I think that UAB is the I guess the crown jewel of the Conference USA. The championship went through them last year. They put out a video today actually that says the West still runs through us. So it's a huge game. I think Frank Harris is a better quarterback than what UAB is rolling out there, and I think Sincere McCormick is the best running back in the conference, along with UTSA's defense, which UAB also has a good defense. I think it was Steve asked me for a total, and I told him I suck at totals because I'm not Jose Lodels or whatever we're calling it. I'm not creative enough to have a nickname. But I these are 2 really good defenses, and definitely I can see a cagey first half. You can go first half under. I'm still rolling with my UTSA play against the spread. I think they're going to win the game. I think it'll be a pretty handy win, but I could easily see the first half being tight, kind of nerve-wracking, and then just one play that kind of pops UTSA and the momentum starts rolling.
I cannot help you with the sharp cash right now. I don't know if it's my computer.
They don't want us to know, Jim. They're scared.
They're
terrified.
I apologize. I cannot help you.
Okay. It's okay. I forgive you this time.
I don't know what's going on. I might have to. I don't know if it's.
Let's call technical support. Let's get Ella to call them and give her a piece of her mind. I think she'll get it done for us.
I apologize. Something's up with this thing, and it's just not working here. I gotta finish the show, sweetheart. Yeah, okay.
By the way, Jim, I don't know. We've been doing the show, and you haven't seen this. Razor Sharp Picks, our good buddy at Disney World, saw Jets legend Brandon Marshall. Took a picture with Brandon Marshall at Disney or wherever he is right now. So shout out to Razor.
Yeah, as you know from my history, I could care less about anybody famous, or that was all beaten out of me as a kid by my father.
Because you're famous, obviously. You're a big movie star. No,
it's not that. It's just my dad broke my spirit with a Bernie Kosar meeting.
Again, I've never heard that story. I've asked for that story at least 3 times. Seamus has talked about it. You've talked about it. I'll never find out about it. So I'd love to find out.
It's not much to it, man. Not much to it. Just I threw sidearm like Bernie. I had a Bernie Kosar jersey. I saw Bernie Kosar. I got so excited.
Was this Jufro? We had the full curls and everything.
Oh, all the curls, yeah. And my dad was just like, "You think he wants to talk to you? He's enjoying himself. Nobody knows who he is in Vancouver, so he's not surrounded by people asking for autographs. Look at him right now. You see the smile on his face? You'll wipe that smile," and he just laid into me. And
wow, that sounds very familiar.
Yeah.
Hold on. Wait a second. Now I'm starting to put the pieces together of how you talk to me and how your dad has talked to you.
Kev Riley says, why didn't you let me take Florida -1.5? That way we both would have made 125. Kev, I'm not sure you understand how
Kev, I don't know what you're smoking, Kev. Just
gambling
take the
works.
55. Just take the 255 and you got it. You got it. But by the way, UTSA play -4.5. There's the say hey play of the day for the week. I gave it out on Tuesday, but reinforce it or Wednesday, whenever that was.
Well, I'm sorry that I when I get this, I'm gonna have to.
It's all right. We've got pressing issues to talk about, Jim. We've got 3 more things to talk about.
We do.
All 3 of these things are very Canadian, and you love them all.
I do. Let's get right after it. Let's move into the Canadian Football League, where I've won 8 straight bets. I should have attacked the Eskimos here when they played Toronto. I mean, I should have been on the under. I should have been on the Eskimos +4. We have games that don't mean anything. And for whatever reason, psychologically, when they don't mean anything, I kind of let go of them, which is a mistake. There's money to be made, and I should be sitting here with 10 straight wins in CFL. We've been very tight. We've kept everything really tight in CFL. Just 26 bets all year. We're 17-9, hitting at 65.4% plus 6.8 units. ROI plus 26.15%. Average line -112. Let's talk about the first spot on the card, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Ottawa Redblacks 2-11, 1-5 on the road at Montreal Alouettes, 7-6, 3-3 at home. Let's move over to the market in this spot here. We have heavily favored Montreal Alouette team, but I'm not that impressed with what happened last week. I mean, you're playing a Bombers team with Sean McGuire at quarterback. I mean, I don't care that much that they shut them down. And I can understand why there's been a 1.5 move towards the Redblacks. Redblacks open up at +14. They're now at +12. And this total is opened up at 45. It's now at 44.5. Final regular season game for the Alouettes and for the Redblacks, and then the Redblack season's over. This Montreal front 7 is dynamite. 45 total sacks this year. And they have a Canadian, David Menard, who is their most outstanding Canadian and defensive player. And that's a huge to be able to have a Canadian in a marquee position like that, because you have to have a certain amount of Canadians on the field. It really helps them build a roster. Trevor Harris, 18-25 for 144 yards and 3 touchdowns, 2 to Eugene Lewis. So he's throwing for 444 yards and 6 touchdowns in his first 3 games with Montreal. That's a very low yards situation, because he knows, don't risk anything. Your defense is so good. Why would you risk anything? This guy's a 2-time Grey Cup champion that people seem to forget about, and he's just playing smart football. The Redblacks come in off a bye and are preparing for Trevor Harris. So if you have any belief in this Redblacks defensive schemes, they have to be able to hold Montreal down. It's freezing. It's not that cold for us, but it's pretty cold. 34 Fahrenheit clear, 7 miles per hour. So how does this team not get the under? How does this team or this game not catch the under here? You're going to have Trevor Harris not risking anything. You have the Alouettes in a situation. Let's go to the standings right now, where they will win home field, right? They will win home field against Hamilton. If Hamilton, guaranteed if they lose tomorrow, if Hamilton loses tomorrow. So I think that this is a under spot, and I'm going to move on the under. I'm going to put my 8-game winning streak on the line. I'm going to take the under 44.5 at -110. You have the Redblacks off a bye. You have Trevor Harris, who's not going to risk or force anything. I just don't see how this under doesn't cash. So that'll be putting my 8-game winning streak on the line here. Under 44.5 is available right now. Let's move on to the Edmonton Eskimos, 3-10, 3-3 on the road at BC Lions, 4-9, 1-5 at home. So Puzzler earlier in the week said in our chat, he's like, get on the Lions right now. Why are you not on the Lions right now? move on them. You know, they were at 5 when he said that. They're now 7-point favorites. And this is the third game for the Eskimos in 6 days. But we have a 23-year-old Nathan Rourke at quarterback because he's going to be the heir apparent here for the BC Lions. And the idea is, like, can you possibly trust this Ohio product, Nathan Rourke? So he came in week 1 when he replaced Riley. 2 touchdowns, 2 picks, threw for 194 yards. I understand this is 2 teams that don't care, but Taylor Cornelius, the quarterback for Eskimos, does care. He cares very much. While the Lions don't care, this game is awful. Ron Crawford's spreadsheet play today is on the Winnipeg Jets. And Mike M saying looks like Curry is out. So why do I want anything to do? I don't know if I want anything to do with this game, and I don't want to trust Nathan Rourke. I tell you that much. Okay, Kev, I'll send it to you today right after the show. So I don't want to care. I don't want to care about this game at all. I don't want to expect Rourke to play well. I do think Taylor Cornelius is capable of playing well, even if it's the third game in 6 days for the Eskimos. The Lions should probably take care of business, but Cornelius is going to throw nonstop. You have to wonder, is the over in play? I don't want to have an over with the Elks involved. There's no way I'm going to take Edmonton. But do I really want to sit here with the BC Lions after I could have gotten them at 5 3 days ago, which I probably should have done? So I agree, Puzzler. Edmonton has played too much this week, but do you care that the Rourke's in? Look, maybe I'm just being lazy in this game, but the Lions don't care. The Eskimos don't care, which probably leads us to an under. So we have, please, I'm trying to finish the show here, you guys. We have spreadsheet play today on the Winnipeg Jets. We have the NCAA spreadsheet play on the Boston College. I'm going to move on the under 44.5 in Ottawa, Montreal. Under 44.5 in Ottawa, Montreal. And I'm going to stay off this Eskimos-Lions game. I guess if I wanted to do anything, it would be the under. But even that, I'm going to have to study a little bit more. And this game just 2 teams that don't care. Why should we? Because we want to make money. And I guess I'm being lazy here with this final game on the card when there's so many opportunities. So that is that is Canadian football right now. We have the under 44.5 with my 8-game winning streak on Ottawa, Montreal. I'm going to have under 44.5 there. I'm not going to bother at this point with this Lions-Eskimos game. All right, there you go. Let's bring in our producer, Jose Bouquet. Ashram Mendez, you are God's gift to handicapping. Thank you so much for blessing us with your information. And if you were a little closer to me right now, actually, my family's in the room, so I will not say what I would like to say to you, Ashram. Jose, let's move forward to your movie review, trying to make you a better man, a man more like Ashram.
A man like Ashram.
A man more like Ashram. Read Into the Line. Of course he did. What do you think everybody was talking about, Ashram? You smoking semen chugger, Ashram. Suck my fucking dick. You think you're smart, Ashram? You think you're bringing knowledge to us? You fucking loser. Why don't you find somebody else's cock to chug? Why don't you see how far it goes down your throat, Ashram? I bet you it'll be right about here. Right about here, where both heads of cocks will land right in the bottom of your throat, Ashram. All right, let's move over to the 3 Amigos movie review from our Jose Bouquet. Jose, my friend, looking forward to this. Your girlfriend did not want to watch the film. She felt that this was going to be Three white guys making fun of the Mexican culture in a
I should-
ignorant fashion.
I should. She's in the room right now. So I should just take my headphones out so she can hear all this too. It'll be fun.
Sure. So Helga thought this was going to be three honkies making fun of the Mexican culture, and she did not want to watch this film. Tell us, Jose, did the film win her over, and what is your movie review of The Three Amigos?
Well, Jim, let me tell you, it was for sure a movie. It was absolutely a movie. I knew the tone of the movie was set early, super early. I appreciated Dusty Bottoms,
Sure.
a classic. That was a good one. I did not know Lucky's name until the very end of the movie. Shout out to Lucky Day, great one. I'll start off with a question for you, Jim. How many times have you done the Three Amigos salute just out and about? Just, in your personal.
As I've matured, it's left.
Okay. All right. So I'm glad to see that, because every time I did it, I'll tell you, I didn't laugh once, but it was they were doing it all right. I appreciated the hustle. I appreciated. I'll tell you again, in the first 10 minutes, 5 minutes, Helga's quote was, "All right, it's gonna be one of these movies," and just
She is the voice of an angel.
Squidward.
Well, there you go. So she does not sound like Squidward, but that's just my impersonation for her. I got a good laugh about that. It had its moments. It definitely had its moments. There were a lot of funny stereotypes that I enjoyed, like the Germans always are the bad guys. I think I counted a grand total of maybe 3 Mexicans, maybe in the entire movie. I appreciated that, and they all happened to be the females, of course. And shout out to the barkeep as well. I appreciate all the accents. I don't have a good Mexican accent, unfortunately. It's not in my arsenal. I unfortunately grew up around white people, so I sound like this. So it's gift and curse. I'll skip to the actual number, the out of 5 scale. You're not gonna like it, Jim, and I hate to break it to you. This was the worst movie by far. Not even close. I gave it a 1.5.
Oh no!
And Helga gave it a 2.
Oh no! Did you make it through the end of the movie?
Oh, of course. We watched the whole movie. We're not gonna bail out of the movie. I mean, shout out to El Guapo too, who also was white. I was expecting him to be Hispanic, but whatever. It's fine. I got a good time. I appreciated it. You're a big Dirty Water guy, and so are the Mexicans. So we all, epic handshake. We're right there with us. But it was definitely a movie, and I don't know why you watch this repeatedly.
Yes, we had this on loop for about 2 years of my life with the volume off. Do not feel as if
it's better with the volume off. I can assure you that.
Oh no! Do you have more respect for Steve Martin, Chevy Chase, or Martin Short?
Oh man, Martin
Less
Short.
now.
Oh, you have less
I
now?
have less now.
Okay, so less now from Helga. But I was shocked. I've never seen Martin Short not wrinkly, and he looked like a 12-year-old little boy doll. And I was like, wow, this is scary. And I have another question for you. This is a Chevy Chase related question. How do you age like that? How do you age so poorly? Is it how much drugs did he do to age so poorly? Because I know Chevy from Community, and he looks like a bag of shit now. What happened?
I don't think it's the booze or drugs. I think it's just being a curmudgeon. I think he's just being an asshole. He's a well-known, very mean person. I think that ages one faster when you're just always angry, always in a bad mood. But I do believe that he's hit the over-the-counter meds very, very hard.
Well, whatever you got to do, got to mix up a cocktail to get you through the day. Sure. Yeah, I Chevy Chase, I would say obviously was the funniest of the three. Would you agree with that?
I've met him a few times and watched him
Wow.
work a room, and it has negatively affected my views of him.
How about Justin specifically in this movie? Even that's tainted?
No,
Your favorite film?
Yes, it's one of my favorite films. And yes, I'd say he's. I don't know. I find Steve Martin quite funny, but yeah, you're right. Chevy Chase is probably the funniest.
Steve Martin is like my dad in like every movie, like Cheaper by the Dozen. He's the dad and everything. So I don't find anything he does funny. Every time they started performing and did the running around each other and all that stuff, I could picture you just cracking up, just slapping your knee, just having a time. Like, look at these idiots running around in circles. I was just sitting there like, wow, this is some dad humor right here.
All right. Well, that was a pretty disappointing movie breakdown from Jose Bouquet. Maybe we should just put an end to this. Maybe we should just shut this down. Ron Crawford says, watch The Jerk. The Jerk is very, very funny. But this was heartbreaking. Heartbreaking for me to hear his disappointment in...
Can I give you a movie? You review a movie from my decade?
I don't watch any if it's nonfiction.
Sure, okay, that's fine. I won't give you the Avengers. I'll consider it. All right, I'll put this down on my list. I mean, hopefully you haven't seen it because you're a savant of the movie business. So I'm sure you've seen all the films.
I don't want any fiction. I don't want to hear a story about dragons.
That's fine. That's fine. I mean, Jim, there's real things in this world, and let me tell you, Jim. One of the realest things in the world is the three amigos right here. My last question before you pull me again is that who are your three amigos? Hello, Ella. who are your three amigos? Who's in your crew? Who's your squad?
That is a good question.
And which one are you? Helga wants to know which one are you.
This is a good question. I would need DJ Big Boss.
Okay. Oh, okay. He's a wild card for sure.
I would need Big Boss for sure. And then I don't know. I'd have to. It's a tough cast. But Boss is definitely one of my three amigos for sure.
I think I can picture it. I can see you as Chevy Chase. I can see Big Boss as Martin Sheen Short. And then I can see Dommy Gun as what's his name? Steve Martin, just because he's of the hair and the oldness. That's it. Yeah. That's basically it.
DJ says, does this make me feel old? It's heartbreaking. This whole thing has been absolutely devastating.
Well, I can tell you for sure, Jim. You said the point of this is to become a better man.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that I am now a better man because I have seen the three amigos.
Okay. Well, then that gives me a little bit of hope. Ron Crawford says cut him off.
Can I say, do you have a plethora of things now? That's what I learned. A plethora of things.
Plethora of pinatas.
No, Jim. That's not how you say it. A plethora of things. Come on, dude.
All right. Thank you, Jose, for watching the Three Amigos. It does make me sad. Let's review action here across the board for our weekend starter. Also, let's see what's going on in the big game here that Max dropped here. Did Max cash North Colorado or Colorado State? No, down by one here. Still can cash it, but it's 2019 Bradley, 22-19 Bradley. Right now, 22-19 Bradley. Okay, let's review action in NHL. I'm on the over 5.5 at -120 in Winnipeg Jets, Vancouver Canucks. Over 5.5 at -120. Let's see what that is right now. See if I beat a market move. We did see a 6 pop up at Pinnacle. That made me feel very good. Let's see 6s across the board. No. And still get the 5.5 at -120 available. A big market move towards the Kraken. I don't want it. I'm not going to be on it. Derl is on the Pacers first half at +105. He got in on the Warriors too early and still confident, but would have been better off waiting at this point. Then he is also on the Clippers -3.5 and -105. I have interest in Oklahoma City, Milwaukee, first quarter and first half overs. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to bet it, and I don't want to double up on it. And then I do have interest in breaking down what's going to happen in these games with Durant out and Steph out, and that's going to take a little bit of time for me to go over. Then we have Max on Colorado State. Oh, it wasn't a first half bet. Okay, good. Max is on Colorado State -7.5 full game. All right, that could still be in business. He's going straight up against the Taint play today. Clemson +3.5. Taint play. Oh, and don't forget, Winnipeg Jets is I've got it listed at the bottom of my sheet, but Winnipeg Jets is the Ron Crawford spreadsheet play of the day. Clemson +3.5 for Taint. And for Max, he's on St. Bonaventure in that Florida Atlantic UT Martin first half under 69.5 at +214. Then he's on North Dakota Fighting Hawks first half at +135. And he has a triple up on Santa Clara. First half -9, full game -15, and full game team total over 75.5. Kev Riley says, get on Wichita State +9. Cash it. Don't let it go by without cashing. Oh, then Mike M says, pretty sure it was 7.5. Let me just double check. Sorry, let me just double check that again. Sorry.
It was first half. First half he has 7.5, and I think it was full game 13.5. Mike's right.
Oh, you're absolutely right. So he's in big trouble there. It's 25-19. Thank you. Yeah, that was a first half bet. Okay. Thank you, Mike M. Okay. Yeah, you look great. Okay. Then in college football, I'm going to move on this Southern Miss Louisiana Tech spot. I'm not sure if I'm going to take a Louisiana Tech first half or I feel like that 33.5 points is a lot of points to score on Southern Miss. Really is a lot of points when they're going to hold the ball for 37 minutes. And so it's going to take some time there. And then I'm on the under 52.5 in Arizona, Washington State. Finally, the under 41 in San Diego State, UNLV. Ron Crawford is on San Diego State -10.5. In CFL, I'm on the under 44.5 in Ottawa, Montreal, and I'm feeling very negative about this Eskimos BC Lions game and don't want to have money on it. But maybe Rourke just goes wild on this tired Edmonton defense. Then the spreadsheet play of the day for college football on Saturday is Boston College. Dan Kelly is on Golden State Warriors first quarter -2. Thank you guys so much for rolling with us this week, and we can't do it without you. We know clearly that this chat is what makes this show special. The insights, the humor, and just rolling with us. You inspire us to all work harder, try harder. We have big shows coming up. We have in 2 hours and 10 minutes, NBA Pub Hub, 4 p.m. Eastern, and at 5 p.m. Eastern, we have Net Profits, NCAA Net Profits. There we go. Have an incredible weekend. We'll find a better movie for Jose Buquet as the Three Amigos didn't go over as I hoped it would. I hoped it would add to your life. And
what is it again? I don't know what it is.
Oh no. Jeff Jahadi, Steve M, Mike M, Ashram Mendez, who's watched me cat basketball for about 30 minutes, can Real Jolly Roger, Nathan Cerna, Kev Riley, Epic Cappers, For Show Cash, Cuban Connect, Piker, R, Po Buddies, Nerfic, Michael Robertson, Ron Crawford, Jared TG, Puzzler, Let's Go Brandon. All you guys, thank you so much for your insights and rolling with us. Let's have ourselves a giant weekend. Let's see if we can get to 9 straight and 10 straight in CFL and keep rolling. Keep rolling.
I think we have to end the show with Three Amigos quote. The Three Amigos quote.
Sure,
Jim. No, I mean, come on, Jim. Let's we have to do this here. Que bien los amigos. Let's go, Jim. Let's go. We're a part of the culture.
Leche. Hey, los bookmakers. What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers?
All right, Jimmy the Bag, Peter Loshak, we are live. It is the Loshak and the Bag show for November 16th.
Happy Wednesday, November 17th, Thursday, November 18th. To all of you, thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here on Pub Sports Radio.
Of course, Jimmy the Bag does this 4 days a week. I come in on Tuesdays. We have a bunch of guests, and we do something that we probably shouldn't do, which is cover it all.
The toughest part for me, and you know this very well, is being the record keeping.
Yes.
The hours upon hours of record keeping. I was up late, loving every second of it, honestly. Putting together my NFL card, sending my bets in. Again, I tell you, guys just inspire me so much. With such a lack of sleep, I wake up let's fucking go. And the man is rolling. Sharpie says, I'm here for the man who double stacks ladies of the night and only mixes Red Bull with his vodka. The man who throws potatoes at skinny runners. My hero and should be yours, Maxwell Smart.
I'm here. I'm happy. I've had some apple juice. I've had a cupcake. I got some daytime college basketball on, and I'm sweating unders. So I'm ready to rock out like Sharpie rocks out with a 350-pound BBW. Let's harpoon some bets. I don't like to say that college basketball games are rigged very often, but last night when I watched that UTSA Abilene Christian last minute, that game was rigged. It was really rough to watch that happen and see my money get flushed down the toilet and into my bookie's mouth. But I plan to drop something in the toilet that will not be money, and it will go in my bookie's mouth today. So use your imagination.
It's a riddle. It's a riddle on the show. Please welcome to the show, Trotwam in the house.
Yes,
what up, man? How are you?
Daddy daycare today, bro. So, hey, it is what it is, man. We got to get to it, bro. And I'm glad you capping this game, man. This game is very interesting, bro. We started off saying that maybe KD's hurt, bro. He did say something was wrong with his shoulder.
And don't ask, don't tell. Look at it. Come along and ride on a backtastic voyage. slide, slippity slide. The freshest in the business.
Jimmy the motherfucking Bag. Salute to you, my guy. All the ladies, gents, and D-gents out there in Wi-Fi land. All the real motherfuckers in the chat. It's all love, bro. You had a great read, too, on the game last week. You actually got me off Atlanta first half with the Cowboys. Yeah, I just want to be on who the stripes are on, to be honest with you, Jim. With this NFL, man, as long as I be on the right side with the stripes, I'll be all right.
Kev Riley wants to bet. Okay, Kev. Then I'll bet you $100, and I get the plus 160, so you'll owe me $160, and you'll get the minus 180. So if you win, you get $55, and if I win, I get $160. Decide now what you want to do. Ball's in your court. I will not owe you $100, Kev. That's not how it works. That's why there's odds here, Kev. This is not a pick'em. I will owe you $55. You will owe me $160. Do you want to make that bet? I'm up. I'm down. In front of everyone. Let's do it. Kevin, no juice pick'em. Oh God, Kevin. Let's stop this conversation before somebody says something they regret. Okay, so Kev, you want to make the bet? We'll do it. So $55 to you and $160 to me. Okay, so that's confirmed. We are. That's a bet. Okay. Okay, so let's go back to work here. I gotta keep moving. Here we go. Jose, welcome to the show. How are you?
Jimmy, I'm all right. No say hey plays recently because it's not baseball season, unfortunately, and I hate shooty hoops. We're not going to get to it today because it's a tight show, but we watched the Three Amigos last night, so we'll talk about it tomorrow, I assume.
I'm very excited to hear about it.
It was a movie, all right.
Now, thank you guys so much for watching. On behalf of all of us at Sportsbook, Jesus, look at that. I'm losing my mind here. Let's get their cash. Lecce, hey, Los Bookmakers!
Oh, I can't get my mouth around that thing. Oh.